From the campus of Woodbury High School in Woodbury, New Jersey, the Gloucester County Educational Network presents high school football. Today, the Woodbury Thundering Herd host the Glassboro Bulldogs in South Jersey Group 1 semifinal action. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Tadd Kozeniewski. A beautiful day here in Woodbury, approaching 60 degrees on the cusp of December. Who would have thought it? An absolutely perfect setting at historic Woodbury Stadium with two great teams on hand. Of course, both teams coming into this game red hot. Woodbury coming in with an 8-game winning streak. Glassboro a 9-game winning streak. Glassboro, of course, also with a storied tradition. Back-to-back South Jersey Group 1 championships. They will try to make it the Troika today. Both of these teams very talented, boasting maybe perhaps the two most talented players in all of South Jersey.
And that makes for a great offensive game. We're expecting a lot of points here today. Glassboro, coming from the Tri-County, has lit up the scoreboard. The team that might face them down the road is a team they saw early in the season, but since that point, Rob, they've had a great year.
Well, again, Woodbury comes into this game. I think everybody expected them to be around given the fact that they have such talent behind them, but they're no stranger here, and they would like to break this streak of Glassboros.
Yeah, they've played in the Group 1 championships. They played in the playoffs. They've got some players that know what it's like to be in this game. They're not going to be overwhelmed coming into this game against the two-time defending champ Glassboro.
Let's take a look at some of the individual talents here. First, let's talk about Glassboro. Corey Clement is a guy that started out. He was initially going to go to Pitt. He transferred over to Wisconsin. This is a kid that is on the cusp of breaking a litany of single-season and career records.
Yeah, he already has a tremendous amount of yards this season. 2,000 this season, had 2,000 last season. He has had an amazing year with TDs as well. He's rushed for 36 TDs last year, 32 TDs this year, and I'll tell you what, he is going to be a huge factor and a monster, a task for Woodbury to try and stop today.
Well, it's an interesting story because Clement's best friend happens to be lined up on the other side of the ball. That's Anthony Averett. His mother teaches phys ed here, so as a result, he attends Woodbury despite going to or living in Glassboro. An interesting background story, but that should not get lost in the fact that Anthony Averett is possibly the best football player to ever attend Woodbury, and right now you got a couple players in the NFL from there.
And that's why Nick Saban wants him in Alabama. He's going to be quarterback in this game today. When he goes to Alabama, he's going to be a defensive back. But already this year, 15 TDs rushing. He has thrown for 12. And again, he has played in big games like this. He was a South Jersey champion as a running back his freshman year. Not to mention the fact he is a world-class long jumper. He set a ton of records with that, second only to Carl Lewis in New Jersey in the long jump.
Well, of course, and here at this stadium of Woodbury, this is a stadium that hosted Carl Lewis, Carol Lewis, and a host of other Olympians for the Woodbury Relays. We may have ourselves a relay race today, perhaps a lot of offense on hand. Stick around. We're going to have a good one for you right here from Woodbury Stadium. Be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams, and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to NJ.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week. With Verizon Fios One, the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, everything high school sports. Back at Woodbury, Juwan Johnson starts things off with the kick, and it falls out of bounds, so an inauspicious beginning for the Bulldogs. Woodbury electing to receive to start things here in the South Jersey Group 1 semifinals, and they will start with very good field position. Anthony Averett, who we spoke about at the top, will be your quarterback. He is being recruited as a defensive back, but we will see throughout the day he is truly a talent on both sides of the football.
For some reason, it looks like we're going to line up to kick this off again.
I believe you have the option of having them re-kick. So they would like to get the ball in the hands of Averett, and Duwan Martin is the other returner for the Herd.
And that probably explains why they kicked it to the sides. The kicker, very afraid of kicking it deep, looking to go to the sidelines, just missed it.
And obviously going to the sideline where Martin is situated. So back to the 35-yard line, awaiting The second attempt at the opening kickoff here. Glassboro in their traditional maroon with gold. Woodbury sporting the bright yellow today with white numbers trimmed in royal. And again, it will roll out of bounds. A wise play by Martin, and that will force Johnson to go and re-kick most likely, which will in turn allow.
It looks like they're going to kick it again, Rob.
Will allow Woodbury to return the ball, and you have to think that at some point you're forced to kick it right up the middle and force that ball into the hands of the very dynamic and dangerous Anthony Avery.
And this is the last thing Zach Valentine wanted with his Woodbury squad starting the game. Now you're 10 yards back from where you started, thinking about you have to kick it to this big-time return man. So already you're going to have your back against the wall with field position. Great opportunity. Should be for Woodbury coming up here as Glassboro is really digging themselves a hole.
Mark Macarone, the head coach of Glassboro. Zach Valentine, the longtime head coach of Woodbury. Valentine, of course, prominently displays that World Championship ring he won with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now the kick. It is towards Martin. Martin now, and it bounces back towards Glassboro, and in effect would be a long onside kick if they return it, or cover it, and it is Woodbury that falls on it. So an interesting turn of events. Nonetheless, Woodbury will start with excellent field position at the 38-yard line, first down and 10.
The strategy of the opening kickoff, though, tells you how these two coaches think this is going to be a very tight game with two evenly matched teams. So little things like kickoffs and field position is going to be big.
Well, you know, you talk about playoff football, and the keys typically eliminate the big play and no turnovers. But one thing Coach Zach Valentine talked about is the play in the trenches, and that's something we'll keep an eye on throughout this afternoon. First down and 10 out of the shotgun. It's Averett. Averett will pitch, and flying out wide right, not a whole lot of room for Woodbury's Jerry Demby, another talented player on this Woodbury roster, being recruited by a number of Division I schools, locally Rutgers, Temple, and Pitt.
Yeah, they try to pitch it to the outside very quick. Glassboro very quick at fighting the blocks and moving down the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
These are two teams that are very similar in style. They boast tremendous athleticism, and that's typically a play that they like to utilize, but you're going strength against strength there. Second down, we'll say no gain. There you get a good look at Averett. Averett, quick, rocket screen. Martin slips up on a wet spot on the field, and he'll pick up about 3. Lost his footing. We haven't had rain in some time.
Yeah, the grass is very, very short here, and it is a little bit choppy on the field. That pass was thrown a little bit behind the receiver. If he'd let him a little bit, Rob, he would have been able to take some yards down the field. As we look at this here again, if you get a good throw here coming up and leading him, the problem is he has to run back, and that's where he slips on the field there, and pretty good coverage, but the slip is what killed it.
Had to pick up about 12 yards just to get 3 past the original line of scrimmage. Third down, they've listed as 6. Again, Averett out of the shotgun, and he has Demby in motion. He'll keep, looks to find a seam, pushes forward, but not a whole lot there. He'll pick up maybe 1 or 2, and Glassboro holds on this first series.
Well, you talked about the offensive defensive lines being key. So far, that Glassboro defensive line did a good job fighting over some blocks and making it tough there, and it's going to cause a punt.
So 3 and out for Woodbury despite good field position, and it will be Jerry Denby who will be punting it away. We'll keep an eye on that, Tad, as Denby, a very talented runner as well, so I think Glassboro has to be leery of the fake at some point today. They'll punt it away and angle it towards the sideline. It'll be spotted just about at the 25-yard line. First down and 10 for Glassboro. Starting at their 25, we'll have an opportunity to see Corey Clement and this talented Glassboro offense.
Yeah, and I think after the coaching staff at Glassboro, you want to get him in the flow of the game early. Give your offensive lines basic blocks to get going. Just make it a nice, easy drive. You're back at your own 25. But again, our first look at Corey Clement.
Clement, as we mentioned, just a number of records that he is amassing. 26 touchdowns on the season, 2,166 yards, averaging 13.5 yards a carry. That's some heady stuff. Right up the gut, and not a whole lot there for the talented senior Corey Clement.
Hey, again, just a nice basic play between the tackles, looking for any kind of daylight. It's kind of looking over what the defense is going to do. This is where the coaches are looking to see what the defense, what their approach is going to be and how they're going to attack it. So this first series for both teams, usually you don't see nothing that fancy.
Well, again, I think Woodbury likes their chances with some of their big guys up front. Max Belko on that stop there, along with Lorenzo Clark. Second down and 7. High formation. Again, it's Clement. Clement trying to buy time, kicks it outside. He's got one man to beat, and he does beat him. Nice little play there by Corey Clement as Averett unable to bring him down.
Well, that's the difference between good running backs and great running backs. Clement should have been taken for a loss of 3 or 4. He gets around the corner and gets 5 positive yards when he should have been tackled for a loss. Here it is again. Now you can see it here. At this point here, he should be going down, but he just does a great job to elude one, eludes another.
That was Averett who finally brought him down, but could have taken him down for a loss tackle. Third down and short. And again, it's Clement right up the middle, and he will try to pull across that first down mark, and he does at the 36-yard line. And I think you brought up a great point, Tad, is the difference between a good and an excellent running back is those 2 or 3 yards that start to kind of pile up over the length of the game. We saw that before, and again, it looked like nothing there for Clement. He pulls his way for a first down.
They basically tell Clement, go get us to 3 yards. He put his head down, pushed ahead, and got it.
First down and 10 at the 36-yard line. We are just underway here in the first quarter. First possession for the Bulldogs, right up the middle, and enough for a first down. Glassboro's Jared Francis.
That's a great call by the offense at Glassboro. Everyone is keying on the tailback, not paying attention to the fullback. The tailback runs towards the right, fullback right up the middle, enough for the first down. If they can mix that up enough effectively, it can really keep the linebackers in check.
So 2 consecutive first downs now for the Bulldogs, and they now are on their own 46-yard line, marching with under 8 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Again, they will hand off the fake to Clement.
Again, nothing fancy. They're just going right up the middle off the tackles, letting him take his read. There's Clement there, tries to cut it back. Good job by Woodbury to stay at home. Again, I think what both defenses are looking to do is to stop any big play. You know these players are going to get their yards. Just maintain them, make it methodically work down the field.
Gain of a long one, second down and 9, again out of the I formation for Glassboro's quarterback Mike Gillespie. Gillespie, quick drop, screen pass. Is it a lateral? It is ruled a forward pass. I tell you, that was very close, and we are lined up right on that 45-yard line, Tad.
Looked like it might have been deflected at the line as one of the defensive players got their arm up and maybe deflected that just a little bit. It was very close, but as you mentioned, we're in perfect line with that here in the press box. As we look at it again, let's see if we get a tip on it. It looked like right there they got a tip on it, and it kind of handcuffed the wide receiver as the ball went to the backside.
I tell you, they got a good spot after an incomplete. It looked like they gained a yard.
Yeah.
Third down. Gillespie. Quick drop. Has his man underneath and in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Juwan Johnson. That was not a bad pass, and that'll force a punt here for the Bulldogs.
And Johnson was open. He went down the first yardsticks, just stopped and turned around, tried to come back for the ball. As you mentioned, it was a well-thrown ball. You got to come up with that.
That's actually where you want to throw the ball, around the knees, to ensure that there are no interceptions on the play. Johnson unable to handle it, and now the punter, Ronnie James, will come out to kick it away to Averett. High kick, Averett takes it back at his 19-yard line. He'll now look to angle outside, beats one man, and now again cutting it outside. Fine tackle made by the punter, Ronnie James.
That's amazing when the punter can get down the field that quick, but you really get a sense for Averett and his speed. We talked about his long jump ability, but he is very quick and elusive. Took his time, read what he had in front of him, tried to get around the corner. That's just a great play by James. Here it is again. As you see it here, he's trying to get around the corner. Not only does he get around this guy here, but he loses his helmet. But now the punter comes in. Great job just to take him at the knees and get him down at the ankles.
Ronnie James, part of that talented family. Paul James, of course, one of the leading rushers in Glassboro history. 4th all-time with 1,730 yards back in 2009. Do you remember who number 5 was, Tad?
Good question. I don't know. Who was it?
Probably the most famous graduate of Glassboro, Gordy Lockbaum.
Wow.
First down and 10, Averett the pitch. And again, not a whole lot there for Woodbury. So they're going to have to earn it today. Denby, the pickup.
Yeah, just trying to get the ball out in some space on that quick play there around the corner, trying to see if you can get a little bit of a seam to go through, because so far, both these defensive lines have been able to hold the centers.
We've had some excellent playoff football action last night. Williamstown with an exciting win over Atlantic City. There you see Zach Valentine, the longtime head coach of these Thundering Herd. We mentioned a big linebacker, and the operative word there being big. Played his football at East Carolina and then eventually went on to the NFL. Won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. There you see Denby, and Denby slips. But getting back to what I said, Tad, some great football last night. Williamstown holding on against Atlantic City. Atlantic City had the ball in Williamstown territory with the opportunity to draw even with that talented Williamstown team. And Southern, with a big win over Eastern, come from behind win, scoring with under a minute to play. And of course today in Group 1, we have another great game on hand over in the Colonial Conference versus the Trico, Pennsgrove and Paulsboro. So a lot of great football action here.
Don't forget about West Deptford. They get their win. They're going to the championship game again.
3rd down. And Averett on the quarterback draw, finds a seam. Averett still on his feet, cuts it back, and he's across midfield. That is just a small snapshot of what Anthony Averett can do.
Well, that's one of those plays that the coaches are looking at on film. They're going, oh no, we weren't ready. We weren't on the right page. Averett's looking to hand off. Then he realizes, I got to go. But just that little hesitation threw the defense off, and our biggest play of the game for either team.
1st down and 10 at the 47. The first time Woodbury is in Bulldog territory. Setback. Motion, it's Denby. He'll come around, he'll take it, and he'll push forward for about 4 yards. We mentioned before that Woodbury really likes what they have on the interior line, some of their size. Of course, they have a nice lineage here. Bryant McKinney, coming from Woodbury, now playing in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. And that's something I talked about last week, Tad, is that a lot of people talk about the Olympic Conference and these big schools, the traditional powers like Cherokee or Camden Catholic or whoever it may be. But this tiny little Colonial Conference has a host of players playing in the NFL now.
Some on the way.
Averett takes it out of the shotgun, and he'll lean forward to about the 41-yard line. So
it's almost a quarterback draw there for Averett. He just takes it real quick, finds the quickest hole he can get to, shoots it ahead. Now they have a 3rd and 4, and again, he has the option to run or pass. He's just as successful a passer as he is a runner. He has thrown for 12 touchdowns this year with just 3 interceptions.
William Harris will run the play in. We're down inside of 4 minutes now. Woodbury's going to have to hustle to get this play off. They don't seem like they're in any hurry, and they're going to have to watch the delay of game. 3rd down and 4. Denby in motion, gets the pitch. Denby fumbles the football, falls on it, but that breaks up the play entirely, and again, Woodbury will be forced to punt it away.
Denby very fortunate as he ran into somebody there that had the presence of mind to stop, plant his feet, and get back on the ball, but good pursuit by the secondary of Glassboro. As you see it right here, he's running on the right side, runs into his own man, one of those big blockers. Luckily had the presence of mind to jump in it, but again, you saw the pursuit in the backfield by Glassboro.
James will be back to return the punt of Denby. Denby gets it away. It's a low line drive, and James will take the big hop all the way at the 1-yard line. And we're going to have a penalty here, a block in the back, and down on the field is a Woodbury player. That was a critical mistake by James, and that's going to result in very poor field position.
Coaches all around Gloucester County are saying if you can read the number or see the number on the back, don't block them. And a basic mistake there, the flag was thrown just as he went around the corner. And you are going to get a block in the back here, no doubt about it.
So that ball is going to be spotted.
Here it is again. You see the return man coming in. Now the block is coming right there, and he got all back when he got that. He really didn't have to do that. The runner was already past him, and now you're talking inside the 5 here, Rob, and some pressure on this Glassboro team.
Davon Ayers was the perpetrator.
Now's when you got to be very, very careful if you're Glassboro.
And that was William Harris who got shaken up on the play on the clip.
Looks like here, where are we looking to put the ball, Rob? 1 or 2 yard line, I believe, when this is put down. Almost the 1.
Looks like it's going to be at the 1. So 99 yards. And we've seen this. This is the type of field position that really changes the landscape of a game, whether Woodbury can march it down the field and break their backs, or whether Woodbury can hold and really create excellent field position. Gillespie, full house backfield, and he'll just push forward, try to create some room, and does. A nice little push by that interior line, picks up about 3 or 4.
It's a nice safe play with the quarterback just taking it up the middle, but you got to be careful. I saw some feet kicking around after that play. Not only do you not want to get a flag here, you don't want to get an ejection here, Rob, because if so, you're not playing next week if you're in the championship game.
Ty Brown will come out of the game, the big linebacker. And again, Woodbury trying to exact its will on the interior. There seems to be a player shaken up inside. We've already had a couple Thundering Herd who have been shaken up. With this little break here, and there you see some of the coaching staff and personnel of Glassboro. 2nd down. Gillespie again with Clement in the backfield. Hands off. Clement cuts inside. Clement brought down to about the 9-yard line.
It's amazing how Clement can hit the hole. There wasn't a lot of daylight there. He had the presence of mind to cut it back, and now makes this a doable 3rd and about maybe 1.5 yards. Here it is again. You can see he's going to cut back, plants there, and takes off. What great quickness there. Outstanding run.
3rd down, and a critical play in this football game early. Ball spotted just inside the 10-yard line, and everybody expects Corey Clement to get the football. Gillespie hands off to Clement. Clement looks, cuts, and it's going to depend on the spot. I'm not sure that he got it. It looks like he's going to be a little bit short here, Tad.
Yeah, that's where that Woodbury defensive line did a good charge, and we have a young man down on the field. That is a good sign.
That is Denby. That's a key part of this team. So 3 plays out of the last 4, a Woodbury Thundering Herd has gone down, and hopefully Jeray Denby will be okay. We'll step away in just a moment to talk about the Star Ledger. Be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey, in-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams, and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One, the Star Ledger, powering nj.com, everything high school sports.
Well, it looks like they're looking at the knee at Denby, and he is in a lot of pain right now. And if you're a Woodbury fan, this is going to be tough to come back from if he does not come back in the game. He averages 10 yards a rush. He has 4 touchdowns on the year, and he is really grabbing at that knee in pain. You can see the trainer out there with him. Something with his right knee. Now it looks like he will get to his feet, but I'll tell you what, Rob, he does not look in good shape as he starts to come off the field.
Well, again, that's something we'll keep an eye on because, as we mentioned, he is one of the more talented players on the field today, with Division I schools expressing interest in him. Last night we mentioned some of the great football that we had on hand in South Jersey. Of course, Florence in Central Jersey victorious. Delran fell in Group 2 in Central Jersey. West Deptford, Delsey, Timber Creek over Shawnee, Southern, Williamstown, and Holy Spirit all victorious last night. 4th down. Again, it'll be James to punt it away to Averett. Line drive, one hop. Averett fumbles the football, picks it up at the 50. Now we'll cut it inside, and he'll be knocked out at about the 40-yard line. So a good punt by James, about 40 yards, a return of 10, first down and 10. A good spot, actually. We'll call it a return of 12. First down and 10 at the 38-yard line. We have 41.9 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
I like the way Averett returns the ball. Even though he bobbled it there, he took his time, looked at what he had, and then took a shot at it. Didn't panic at all. A lot of high school players will panic in a bobble situation. He kept his presence of mind, did a nice job there.
I think the other thing that he did well, Tad, is he went forward. A lot of times you try to create something out of nothing, and then you find yourself going backwards. 12 yards, nothing to be ashamed of. Excellent field position for the Herd. Averett, again, under center. Averett fakes the pitch, and it looks like we're going to have a motion penalty here. Averett looked like he was going to throw the football there.
Yeah, he was going to try and get to Rashawn Haynes down the far sidelines, but the flag stopped that early.
There you get a look at Jeray Demby. Hopefully it is just a cramp.
Offsides was the call against Glassboro. They keep going after his knee, though. And you see, well, she keeps shifting that knee around. Again, I am not a trainer, Rob, but I mean, it just looks like she keeps maneuvering around with his knee. He looks to be a little bit better. He's on the sidelines, but it looked rough at first.
2nd and 5, Woodbury.
Well, good field position, and this is a good place to throw the football. They call it 2nd and 5. I don't understand why it wouldn't be 1st and 5. Referees must have heard me, Tad. They fixed it.
Good job.
First down and 5. Averett now working out of the shotgun. And he'll keep it. Averett cuts it outside, finds a seam, exploits it, and brought down at about the 20-yard line.
He got a great block from his left end that sealed things off and gave him the opportunity to go to the outside. Averett went to fake to the inside, cut to the outside, but a great job on the left side of that offensive line. As you see it here coming right into your living room, there's your block right there on the left side of your screen. And that's why Averett was able to get down, get the first down, and get inside the 20.
First down and 10 for Averett.
Lorenzo Clark on that block there, outstanding.
Hands it off inside, still on his feet, going forward. What a tremendous run! Touchdown! Duwan Martin. What an individual effort. Martin had a small hole, bounced off a tackler. And again, that illustrates the importance of wrapping up. Great perseverance, and Woodbury strikes first.
Yeah, you read my mind, Rob. Glassboro was there, but the defender did not wrap up, and that's just great presence of mind by Martin to get by that defender and get in the end zone. So Woodbury's on the ball, on the board first.
26.8 seconds remaining in this first quarter, and Woodbury really doesn't have a kicking game to speak of, so they will go for two. Averett, your quarterback. Quick drop, throws it, it's tipped up, and it is no good. So the score remains 6-0, and that's going to be something that, here's the run, Ted.
As you see here again, there's one tackle that's missed. Now they have a shot for him here, and just kind of an arm tackle. Great effort there, and you got to give it for Woodbury. They're capitalizing on some plays against Glassboro, and to have the lead here in a game of two evenly matched teams is big, but let's keep an eye on that missed extra point. That could be interesting as this game goes on.
I was going to say, I mean, that's truly an Achilles heel of this Woodbury team. It's one thing when you are typically just kind of manhandling other teams, but when it comes playoff time, the games are going to be close. So that's going to be something that, as you mentioned, we're going to have to keep an eye on. Glassboro traditionally has a better special teams department than Woodbury. There you see the 19-yard touchdown run of Martin for the Woodbury Thundering Herd. And Woodbury will kick it away here with just 26.8 seconds left.
The other thing about this game today, the weather not a factor at all. It's not very cold. It's rather comfortable. There's barely a breeze blowing, but with two teams that predominantly run the ball, not as big a factor in the game as well. But Woodbury does throw the ability to pass when they have to.
Chris Roan will kick it away for Woodbury.
Interesting note there on the kickoff that was just brought up to us, Rob, that Demby is normally the kicker, but now that he's injured, they had to press somebody else in the service, and that'll drive you nuts if you're a coach.
That's interesting because Demby is walking around, but apparently still not in shape to even attempt a point after. You see Zach Valentine, 9-1 this season. Their only loss coming to another talented team here locally, West Deptford, who we had last week. Defeated a school you're very familiar with, Sterling.
This Gloucester County football is amazing how many teams are in the finals year in and year out.
Clement right up the middle, big hit laid out. And I'm not sure who got the worst of that, whether it was Clement or Woodbury.
Well, Clement's listed as 210. He doesn't appear to be 210, but he just ran over the defensive back of Woodbury.
I believe that was Averett.
And just plastered him in the ground as time ends here in the first quarter.
Well, we'll step away. We're through one quarter of play at Woodbury High School. Group 1, South Jersey semifinals. Woodbury on top by 6. Second quarter underway. Clement with the ball, cut down, and he'll lose a yard or two. So Woodbury holding firm defensively. Fine play made by that Woodbury defense.
Yeah, Clement tried to get around the outside because nothing was up the middle, but a great job to get around the outside by Woodbury and contain him and make the tackle. Well, how long can you contain a running back though like Clement? As the game goes on, you're expecting him to break one sooner or later.
That's true. Obviously 6 points is probably not going to be enough today. But I guess in fairness, you could probably say the same thing about Averett. Third down and 4. I formation for Gillespie and the Bulldogs, and it looked like there was some motion on the play. It was Quentin Rothmiller at the bottom of your screen that moved. Looked like they were setting up a screen.
Trying to get something to the near side of the field, and it looked like Woodbury was showing blitz as well. And that's going to cost 5 to Glassboro. It's the little things here, Rob. You know, things like this could be the difference in these games.
Well, remember the previous drive, Tad. It was all set up by a block in the back.
That made it all happen. So these are the things that will set these two teams apart. Got to almost play a perfect game to move on.
Third down now and 9. Clement behind Gillespie. Still have to keep an eye on him. He's back to block, thrown up, and triple coverage. Nice throw and catch, it's James. Well, the safety late getting over to help out, and a fine throw by Gillespie finds James in the seam of that triple coverage.
That was just a great route by the 2 wide receivers on the bottom side of the screen. The 1 wide receiver cuts in. This is the wide receiver that cuts out, and a beautifully thrown ball. And James, the sophomore, makes the catch, and that's exactly what Glassboro needed to get themselves back in this game.
First down and 10. I formation for the Bulldogs. They're on the march. 10:45 and counting remaining in this first half. Clement, not a whole lot there. We'll call it 2.
But this defensive front line, especially the tackles of Woodbury, have done a good job. They've really pounded Clement the couple times he tried to get in those middle gaps in the middle of the field. So I think Glassboro's got to find a way, if they can, to get him outside a little bit quicker, because so far this Woodbury front line, especially a couple of these big tackles, have done the job.
Well, Clark and Belko have certainly held their own there in the middle. And again, I think that's why Zach Valentine feels that this is the strength of their team. Clement, and motion for Glassboro, it's Smith, and a penalty flag on the ground. Procedure, Glassboro. Well, you know, right now, Tad, Glassboro is really its own worst enemy.
They're making nice plays. They get that nice pass play. Now you just got to settle down and move the ball down the field. But the penalties are what's going to kill you here.
Second down and 13. Clock continues to move inside of 10 minutes.
And Demby might be done in this game. He's sitting on the bench. His helmet's down. He's got his hands on his head, so he may not be coming back in this game, Rob.
That's a huge loss for Woodbury. Gillespie rolls to his right, has Clement underneath, throws it up, and a little bit too strong for his intended receiver. That was intended for Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson was the receiver all the way, but Johnson on his first cut slipped down, and there was nobody else open, so the quarterback was waiting for Johnson. Then they just threw a jump ball to the end zone. At least the quarterback had the presence of mind to throw it deep enough that only Johnson could come close to it. So.
It looked like Harris may have had an opportunity to run that down. It was just outside his outstretched hands. So a long third down now, but we've seen that Gillespie has the ability to throw the football.
Throws a nice ball. But the wide receivers in there from Glassboro keep slipping in their patterns.
Again, working out of the eye. Clement takes the handoff, getting pressure. Gillespie engulfed, and now they're going to call a penalty. That may be a face mask.
Well, that was Gamble that was right in there. He shot the gap, and now a big call in this game as the ball's back at the 41.
That automatic?
Let's take a look.
Here it is again. Let's see. As he breaks through, as we're looking, as you said, maybe a face. Oh, yeah, he's got the face mask there for sure. That's just bad luck if you're Woodbury. You get a great defensive play, and that's going to change this second quarter all around.
Well, that'll create, I believe, a first down. I believe it's an automatic first down. It's 15 yards from the spot of the penalty.
Walking it off. Now they're calling it third down, Rob.
So it's third down, so essentially it's a play that didn't happen.
A redo.
Well, Groundhog's Day, third down and 12. Essentially all that accomplished was take some time off the clock as we continue to move towards the 9-minute mark. Good play nonetheless by Gamble. Gillespie, quick drop, screen underneath, and a big hit laid out. Punished on the play is Juwan Johnson.
Great read inside. I mean, if you don't see tackles much better than that if you're a high school player. I believe that's Nazir Harris, number 54. After the ball's caught, boom, right here. That's almost a helmet on helmet, but what a play.
And he wrapped him afterwards, which, again, despite the fact that he laid out the boom, he ensured that he finished the deal. So this deep into Woodbury territory, it's 4-down territory. Ball spotted just inside the 25-yard line. It'll be fourth down and about 11. 8:22 remaining. Keep an eye on Clement. He's lined up in the backfield to the right. Clement out in the pattern. Gillespie getting flushed out. Throws across to Clement. And a big hit laid out. Harris lays out Clement. And that is perhaps a touchdown stopping hit.
As that ball was in the air, it looked like Clement had a shot for that, but a great job by the defensive back to recover. You're going to look at it from ground level here. Great job by the quarterback to elude the rush. And look at this hit. Right as the ball got on him. That's a great defensive play, and it's going to take Clement a little bit to recover from that one.
He's a little shaken up. I tell you, I can't say enough about the throw by Gillespie. Just eluding that rush of Woodbury, still delivered a strike, and you can't blame Clement for not holding on to that. A big hit laid out, shaking up Clement and really energizing this home Woodbury crowd.
He almost got the helmet right on the ball and on his chest. Big, big play.
First down and 10 for the Herd. Empty backfield for Averett. He's going to run it. Averett finds a seam and runs right over Johnson. I tell you, Johnson's had a tough couple plays.
Well, they follow the pulling lineman who was wide open from the other side of the field. Going on with that was Jaleel Robinson as he pulls around the corner. A little bit of room for Averett. There you see him leading on the right side of your screen, gets a block, and then there's that hit. Big time collision. Good job to hang in there on the tackle by Johnson.
An important note, by the way, is for Glassboro, Clement is still out of the football game. He has his helmet in his hand, so I think the coaching staff just wants him to collect himself, and he will be sorely missed on this defense. He's not just an offensive threat. Averett with the football, again, trying to find some space. He'll pick up maybe 2 or 3.
Averett tried to run it between the tackles. Good job that time by Glassboro. As you see right there, coming back in is Corey Clement. If you're a Glassboro fan, you're hoping he's back to where he should be because, again, a lot of the hopes of this Glassboro team ride on his shoulders because he can create some things when he gets the ball on offense.
And We've seen that injuries already early in this game have played a role. Demby currently out of the football game for the Herd. There's no telling whether or not he will return. He does have his football helmet on, but he is far out of the mix. Second down, we'll call it 7. Averett pitches to the far side, spin move, and it's loose. And it's Glassboro who comes away with it. Woodbury's Dewan Martin loses the football, and the Bulldogs will regain possession with excellent field position.
Yeah, Martin just tries to get around the corner and spins, does a good job, but again, it goes away from us here. It's going to be a little bit rough to see as he spins. The ball goes right there, and then it's anybody's ball at this point. You just got to hold on. It looks like recovering it there might have been James.
James has had himself quite a game here already. First down and 10, and now after a big stop by the Woodbury defense, they're forced to try to stop this Glassboro offense once again. First down and 10 at the 40. 6:55 remaining first half. I formation, and Clement is in that backfield. Gillespie pitches to Clement. Clement with space and brought down at about the 30. Very close to a first down. It looks like he will have it depending on the spot.
Nice job on the option. The quarterback held it as long as he can. They want to get the ball into the hands of Clement. Clement just took off as soon as he got that ball. The right side of this defensive line of Woodbury got sucked in. They got to do a better job on this, so they're going to be in trouble on this drive.
Second down and inches. And this will give Gillespie and the Bulldogs a variety of options as they hope to tie this game up. They trail by 6. Again, out of the eye, Gillespie. He'll hand off to the first man, and he'll have more than enough as Jared Francis, the junior, picks up about 2 or 3 first down Bulldogs.
Good job by Glassboro to mix it up there to give it to the up back because everyone obviously is keying on Clement. They did that before for 10 yards. This time just enough for a first down.
It's been a well-played first half. Glassboro with a few mistakes penalty-wise. Woodbury with that big turnover. First and 10. Gillespie again. Now he'll cut it inside, looks, pitches to Clement. Clement with room and space, angling towards the corner, touchdown! Corey Clement, 28-yard touchdown run. We are knotted at 6.
Well, even though Clement gets the touchdown, I think you got to give all the credit there to the quarterback. The quarterback, again, waited till the last second, threw the ball back blindly, just feeling where Clement would be, and then Clement picks it up from there. But what a play by the quarterback, and then Clement finishes it off.
I have to agree with you. Gillespie really trying to find that seam, isolating a little space, taking advantage of it, and Clement got the pitch. It looked like he caught it with one hand, and then he was off to the races. So now Glassboro will look to go ahead. Aaron Crispin's kick is up, and it is good.
A groan from the crowd up here in the press box as we look at this again. This is just a great read by the quarterback, Gillespie. Holds it, then flies it blindly over his right shoulder. Great block by one of the wide receivers there. And the rest is up to Clement, who gets in the end zone, Rob, for yet another touchdown this season and for his career.
Well, we mentioned that he was averaging 13.5 yards coming into today's game. A 28-yard touchdown run will not hurt his average.
And we talk about mistakes and how important they're going to be in this game. Woodbury with 2 big ones. The block in the back down by the goal line caused some problems. Then the fumble, and it's converted into points for Glassboro. And Glassboro making this a bit of a game now. 7-6, they lead it.
Back deep for Woodbury, Anthony Everett, along with Dewan Martin.
So Glassboro will kick it away. Averett and Martin back to receive the kick. It'll be Glassboro's Juwan Johnson who kicks it away. Their field goal kicker is Crispin. You see that very frequently on the high school level. 7-6 with 5:42 remaining in this first half. It's a short one, and falling on it is Woodbury at the 45. So that gives you some insight as to how much they respect the abilities of Anthony Averett in this return game.
Yeah, that's a tough one, though, because you don't really want it to go to the 45-yard line. You don't want to kick it too deep, but that's a little too shallow. A real short field here for Woodbury now with the ball at their own 45-yard line, and we'll see how they respond. As you mentioned, still plenty of time remaining. They can still stay with the game plan.
And one thing I keep looking at is Denby. There you see what essentially is a squib kick that almost served as an onside kick. Denby still,
I think he's done.
Yeah, on the bench with his helmet on, but he doesn't look like he's coming back.
Nope.
And again, we have a penalty here. It's going to be a motion call.
Oh, that looks like, I thought so too, but now the one official signaled something different. Yeah, offsides against Glassboro. Somebody must have lined up in the neutral zone.
Yep. Again, we're lined up right on that 45-yard line where it occurred. So first down and 5 for the Herd. There's your officials today. Frank Ameo, the referee. Jose Cruz, who enjoyed a fine career in the major leagues, your umpire. Fior Purcell, the lineman. Phil Gotti, the line judge. Robert Rienzi, the back judge. And on the clock, Joe Santomoro. He's quite a hitter with the Astros.
Yes, he was. Outstanding. Big hair, too. I remember the guy.
Averett again on the quarterback draw. Angles outside, picks up 3 or 4. That'll bring up a very makeable second down and 1.
What sets the great players apart from other players like Averett is the ability to do something when nothing is there. There was really nothing on that play, and he was able to get 4 positive yards out of it, and that's what makes him great. The other thing we talked about, the injuries with these Group 1 teams, Rob, you don't necessarily lose one player. You could lose 2 or 3 players. And in the case of this Woodbury player who's hurt right now in Denby, you lose an offensive player, a defensive player, and a kicker.
It's a great point. Again, you look at Woodbury lined up on the sidelines. There's maybe 30 players in uniform, so not a lot of depth there. And again, another penalty. And we'll see again whether someone lined up offsides.
I think that was against Lorenzo Clark. Lorenzo had like 2 steps into the backfield of Glassboro before that play started, so that should be against Woodbury, and it is. Somehow missed the snap count. I'll tell you what, the coaches have really got to lay it to these guys at halftime. A lot of mental mistakes but on the counts. Basic things, and again, as we move on in this game, they become that much more magnified.
It's not really uncommon in a playoff game. Kids tend to be a little bit more nervous, but as the game evolves, you hope to have those kind of dissipate, and that's not really what happened here. Second down and 6. Again, it's Martin in motion. Averett back to pass, throws it up, has his man underneath, enough for the first down. Nice little play by Averett as he finds Ty Brown for the first down.
That's just a great job by Averett. Bought just enough time. He was actually jumping backwards as he threw the ball. A great athletic play, and it saves his team. He gets the first, and you can see as he goes to throw this, he's jumping backwards. He throws it right in stride, and a great catch and a great play by the quarterback.
So remember, Averett is playing against his old buddies. He's someone that grew up in the town of Glassboro, still lives there, and that was Clement who was applying the pressure to him, his best friend. First down and 10. From up here, it almost looked like he was throwing it away, and lo and behold, he gets a first down.
Right in stride.
The handoff, nice little move, and thrown down is Woodbury's Davon Ayers.
Quentin Rothmiller came in. You see him made a real nice hit on that play from Glassboro. He came in there and read it, but again, Woodbury not in panic mode, staying with their game plan, running when they can, passing when it's there.
Well, this is a good opportunity for them to try to get a prolonged drive and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Maybe get a score, but more importantly, perhaps, or as importantly, ensure that Glassboro doesn't get the football again this half. Clock continues to move. 3:25, second down and 7. Averett again working out of the shotgun. 3 receiver set. Handoff, and it's Averett around the end, very close to a first down. So it was actually not Averett that lined up behind the center there.
Yeah, he came up on the right side of the offensive set there. That's where you really got to be heads up if you're a Glassboro defender. They hand it off to him. He gets enough speed to get around the corner and move the chains for a first down. Very creative offensive set there for Zach Valentine and Woodbury.
Well, I erred in assuming it was Averett, but I think as a Glassboro defensive coordinator would tell his players, always know where number 4 is. And number 4 finds himself some room to operate and gets the first down. 3-11 as Woodbury moving the football. Ball spotted inside the 35-yard line of Glassboro. Averett hands off. It's Martin. Martin, he's slung down. You could see, looked like he was holding that football just a little bit tighter that time.
You want to be careful there as Jared Francis, a junior, came in, shot the gap, made a real nice tackle there. Nice play by Francis.
Fast moving first half. 2:50 and counting. Second down and 9 for the Herd.
Yeah, you still have plenty of time here with the ball at the 31-yard line. You can stay with the game plan if you want. Again, Woodbury can throw the ball, as we mentioned before. 12 touchdown passes this year for Averett.
Glassboro. Averett throws it up and looked like he was trying to lead Martin. And that's one of those plays that could have turned out quite ugly.
Yeah, tried to get it out for Martin, but not quite where he wanted to get the ball. As you see the guys talking it over right now to get on the same page.
A little surprised by that call because, again, I think one of the things the coaching staff has to be mindful of is trying to utilize the clock. Stopping the clock is going to give Glassboro the opportunity to get another 30, 40 seconds should they end up with the ball offensively.
Well, you would have thought it would have been a reasonably safe pass. They just didn't quite execute it the way the coaches wanted. It was only about 5 yards down the field, but not quite thrown to where they wanted to have that one done.
Running in the play-in for Woodbury is number 48, William Harris. We've seen that he has had an impact defensively in this game, and now a timeout is called as Woodbury really took a long time getting that play in. So Woodbury calls their first timeout here. Just a reminder to everybody that you should be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios Swan. The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, everything high school sports.
Well, Woodbury together here on offense on the 3rd and 9. There's quite a few options you have here from the 31. Again, even if you want to run some clock, you can. But again, with the passing attack that they have here with Averett, they could take a shot down the end zone. If it's intercepted, it's just as good as a punt as you look at the path to the playoffs for Woodbury.
Well, you can see that they have amassed some serious offense there. Coming into this game, 4 consecutive shutouts. Try to do some quick math there. 780, 138, 178, 187 to nothing over the last 4 games. So, you know, sometimes that's a concern too for a coach because they've not been pushed in some time.
That's almost a month and a half.
3rd down, Averett. Back to pass. He's going to throw it up. Throws it underneath, and it's picked off. Picked off, and that's by Jamison. That will work effectively as a punt for Woodbury.
Yeah, it's just as we were saying there. I think that's a good job by Coach Valentine. The ball did have a lot of hang time, but throw it up down by the goal line. The worst that can happen is they're going to get it inside the 10. You'll take that. It's just as good as a punt because most high school kickers don't have enough discipline to kick it and keep it inside the 10. So a good effort by Woodbury. Now their defense has to come up and make some plays.
Now, of course, the danger here is that Corey Clement is just 1 carry away from a touchdown anytime he touches the football.
Well, this is where if you're on defense, you got to stay where you're supposed to be. Don't over-pursue. Stay in your gaps.
Gillespie has shown a propensity for throwing the football. We'll see whether or not they roll the dice this deep in their own end. 1st down and 10 at the 8-yard line. They're going to go right to Clement, and Clement will bull his way forward. He'll pick up about 2, ball at the 11-yard line, and we'll see whether or not a timeout is called. It is. And it's actually going to be Glassboro calling the timeout. Bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, because if I'm Glassboro with the ball inside the 10, I'm looking to get to the half any way that I can. In a 7-6 ball game, I don't want any mistakes here. And if you're Woodbury, I'd be the team trying to call the timeout to keep them down in there. You never know.
You know, I think one thing to keep in mind, Tad, is the fact that you have Woodbury. There you see Mark Macaron, 9-1 this season. You have Woodbury, who is missing their field goal kicker. So that may play a role in their decision making.
And maybe that's, again, why they elected to throw the ball down towards the end zone there. But, again, I think that's a pretty safe play for high school ball. You hope that you get enough of your wide receivers down there. If it is intercepted, you get the tackle, and that's what they got there. Well, now if you're Glassboro, though, you got to make sure you hold on to this football.
There you see the path to the playoffs by those Glassboro Bulldogs coming off a Thanksgiving victory over Deptford, a stopping of Pennsville in the first round of the playoffs. And back to action, Clement driving forward, Clement, and he'll be close to a first down.
Yeah, Clement just went for the quick one up the middle, almost got the back judge on that play, and it looks like they will get enough for the first down. And if you're Woodbury, you're okay with that. Just take it up the middle, that's fine, we'll contain you. Hopefully the clock will be on your side if you're a Woodbury fan.
It is a first down for Glassboro. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line, 1:58 left. And again, if you're Woodbury, you just have to stop the big play here.
Even though they go 4 wide receivers here, I'm still keying inside if I'm a linebacker.
Gillespie with Clement in the backfield. Maybe audibling. He'll hand off to Clement. Clement through one tackle. Clement cuts it outside. Clement, and finally slung down.
Again, I like the call on the set for Glassboro. They go to the 4 wide receivers, which spreads the defense. They give the ball to Clement. Now, Clement, all he has to do is find a gap. He gets one initially, tried to stay in bounds or get out of bounds. I don't know what he was trying to do at the end there. But, again, that's a good formation. I think that's one we're going to see later in the game as he gets into some open ground right here. And now this is one-on-one area, and good job of using the sidelines by a defender there.
So, first down and 10 once again as Clement picking up huge chunks offensively for the Bulldogs. Marching the football now inside the 35. Clement inside, and Delco will have none of it.
And again, if I'm the coaches of Woodbury, I'm saying, all right, as we get the timeout here, Rob, I don't care that they're going to 4 wide receivers, guys. My linebackers, I don't want to get beat up the middle by Clement. So far, both times they've gone this formation, it has been a handoff to Clement up the middle.
Timeout called by Glassboro. They have 1 remaining. As we mentioned, Glassboro with a win streak of 9 games. They lost the opener to Pennsgrove. Of course, Pennsgrove the prohibitive favorite today against Paulsboro, but never count the Red Raiders out. Nonetheless, we're going to have a team from either the Trico or the Colonial or both represented next week.
It's amazing, too, as you go back to 1974-75 when the Group 1 playoffs started. Almost every year, with the exception of 2 I can remember with Shalleck, that a Gloucester County team has won the Group 1 title, whether it be Paulsboro, Glassboro, or Woodbury. Amazing.
Second down for the Bulldogs. 6 to go on their own 36. Gillespie now will work out of the shotgun. Talking to Clement, who's trying to get his face mask snapped.
Now what do we get? They're going to allow him the time to fix his face mask. Still doesn't have it fixed.
Looks like we're all set now. 2nd and 6. Gillespie out of the shotgun across the middle. High throw finds Jamison.
Johnson's a sophomore, 190 pounds. He's probably the tallest defensive back or offensive back on the field. Nicely thrown ball. Glassboro's going for some points here.
No question. I misspoke. It is Johnson, not Jamison. 1st down and 10 inside of Woodbury territory. Gillespie throws underneath, and that's an ill-advised play. It's ruled incomplete. That's really a break for Glassboro, as that would have eaten up some clock.
Yeah, they just tried to get a quick pass play to the near side of the field, but as you mentioned, it is actually a break for Glassboro. The clock stops with 1:15. You look at it here again. Did he hold it?
I think they said he used the ground.
Tough one there. But again, I think Glassboro will take it.
2nd and 10. And remember, this drive started deep in the Glassboro end. Gillespie out of the shotgun. 2-step drop, throws it into coverage, picked off. Fine play made by Woodbury's number 9, Davon Ayers.
Ayers just a sophomore too, held his ground. One thing that did make it easier is that the quarterback eyed his receiver the whole way. So Ayers knew it was coming his way. As you see it here, quarterback is looking down the left side of the field the whole way. Ayers holds his ground. Great job to be in position and make the interception.
1:09 left. We'll see whether or not Woodbury is content to take a knee or whether they will try to generate something. I would assume, given that you have someone as explosive as Averett, you're going to run the football here and see if maybe you break one.
Well, they're going to start with a couple wide receivers top side of the screen.
Averett underneath center. In motion, it's Martin. Averett will keep. Averett looks to cut it inside. They'll pick up about 3.
Yeah, nothing wrong with keeping it in your featured players' hands. Now we'll see if they have any. Now they're going to stop the clock here. I was going to say if they have any urgency to get in the next play as Woodbury calls time.
It's Woodbury's 2nd timeout, so they have 1 remaining.
The safest play, believe it or not, is if you're going to throw the ball, you want to throw it more deep down the field so your defenders have a chance to recover and make a play. The pass you got to watch out for is the quick outs. If you're going to throw it, it better be there because they're the ones that can turn into disaster. So maybe at some point, whether it be 3rd down, I don't know, if they're going to throw, Averett has a decent arm, it's going to go down the field.
That's an excellent point. Glassboro, as we mentioned, led by Averett. Or excuse me, Woodbury led by Averett, and really no more for his feet, but he has been successful through the air. We've seen it, we've gotten a sense of his arm strength, but I think your probably best bet is to hope that Averett breaks one.
And again, on 2nd down here, why not? Try another run or an option type play here and see what you get.
.56 seconds left. Averett with time. Now flushed out of the pocket. Averett will look to throw the football. Has a man, throws it downfield. Thrown up and caught by Harris. Harris down the sideline. Tackled at the 35. And we'll see whether or not Woodbury calls timeout. I think they are advising him to spike the football.
Harris was standing 10 yards initially behind the defensive back, jumping up and down, wanting the ball. Good job by the quarterback to get it out there. And a great catch.
So Woodbury lines up to spike the football. 43 seconds left. And now a penalty flag.
Neutral zone maybe. Here it is again as you look at it from the ground level. Great job to scramble here. Now this is where the wide receiver's jumping up and down. I'm open. They throw it. He throws it off the wrong foot. Great job to jump up and catch that. Well done. It's just an athletic effort. Sometimes you just got to do that as your quarterback. Let your athletes go up and make the play.
I'm not sure what the call was exactly, but Woodbury better get back on the line because the clock is going to start here in just a second.
They're calling it an incomplete pass on the spiked ball, but they move them back 5, so that's why the clock will hold here. But a lot of confusion on that 5-yard penalty.
If the penalty happened before the pass, why is the clock not running? I don't understand.
Correct.
And now
delay a game.
They got to delay a game.
Yep.
Well, wow. This is not how you continue a drive.
You got to think, bro.
Now they go another 5 yards back. Now you're back at the 45-yard line, making it that much tougher. This is where you're in this confusion area. You better be careful if you put the ball in the hands of a quarterback to throw. We've seen so much confusion on these last 2 plays. You don't want to have it come back and bite you.
1st and 20 with 42 seconds left. Averett out of the shotgun. Has a pocket. He's going to chuck. It's actually not Avery. Thrown up for Averett. And it is knocked down again, assuming it was Averett, but it was actually Ayers trying to find Averett.
Yeah, Averett went in motion from the near side to the far side. And again, the ball was reasonably thrown, but just had a lot of air time. And that's why the defense had a chance there. As you see, Averett left your screen. He's going. He's the intended receiver. Here comes the ball down for Averett. And just knocked down at the last second there.
Juwan Johnson, who's had his name called frequently today, with the fine defensive play. Harris will run in the play here for Woodbury. It's now 2nd down and 20 with 35.6 seconds. And again, Woodbury takes a long time to get these plays in. Three receiver set. It is Harris at the bottom of your screen. Excuse me, at the top of your screen. Averett back to pass, throws it up, has his man, and a little miscommunication as Woodbury's Cameron Gamble actually had some room as the defender slipped.
That's not a bad pass, though, by Averett, because Averett actually threw the ball before Gamble went into his break. So he had to anticipate where Gamble was going to be. So that's actually a nice effort on the play by Averett. Just didn't quite sync up where they needed it to be.
3rd down and 20 with 30 seconds remaining.
Blocking for these kids?
20 yards is a tough play to run in, but if you get something, at least get out of bounds, you have a chance to run another play and maybe send one out to the end zone.
And they should have one timeout remaining, so they still can throw it to the middle of the field. Averett, quarterback draw, he's in trouble. Averett is slung down deep in his own end.
Zamir Green shot the gap, and that's going to take care of things there. As now a timeout is called. I believe Glassboro takes this timeout here.
That's correct. So they will be forced to punt it away, will be Woodbury with 20.2 seconds. And you have to believe that the likelihood is they're going to just punt it out of bounds to avoid a calamity on special teams. Averett looked a little bit shaken up after that.
Yeah, as we're watching him come off the field here from the press box, coming off a little slow. But yeah, the last thing you want to do here if you're Woodbury is kick off and allow for a return with 20 seconds remaining. Just kick it out as far as you can down the field. Keep it to the sideline. There's a good shot of Anthony Averett. Going to get back out in the field. Averett going to Alabama.
Well, we talked about some of the special players that came out of Woodbury. Of course, they have a couple in the NFL. Bryant McKinney playing with the Baltimore Ravens, and Chris Presley, your running back for Cincinnati. So they are rivals within the AFC North division.
Whoa, wait a minute. We only got 10.
I spoke to Zach Valentine. I said, where does he compare? You've had an opportunity to coach some of these guys in the NFL. He said he's a cut above.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. An interesting putt coming up here, Rob.
Averett will punt it away, and it will be short. Harris will look to down it. Instead, it'll find its way out of bounds. So 14.4 seconds left, and Woodbury will look to hold on defensively here and go to the locker room trailing by 1. The difference at this point, really the injury to Demby, who was unable to attempt the point after.
Yep, you lose your extra point kicker. They tried to go for 2, were not able to get it, and that's the difference in this game. And I think if you're Glassboro here, you lead at 7-6, 14 seconds to play. If it's me, I'm kneeling down, Rob, but we'll see what Coach Macaron has up his sleeve here. A lot of bad things can happen if you throw up a ball in this situation.
Well, and I guess if you have Corey Clement in the backfield, you think a lot of good things can happen.
Give it to him.
Just give it to him and see what happens. Gillespie back to pass, has time, throws it over the middle, and it's picked off. Picked off. Here is trouble. Just what you spoke about. Angling towards the corner, going in and slung out of bounds at the 9-yard line with 1.9 seconds left.
Well, at least I feel better that I said it before the play, Rob. I hate to be a Monday morning quarterback, but you have a 1-point lead. The ball's in your own zone. This is the last thing that Glassboro needed, a ball right down the middle. Great job to read this. Now it's just a matter of is he getting into the end zone or not. Down the sidelines, your featured players, he gets inside the 10, the touchdown saving tackle on the play by Corey Clement. And now Woodbury's going to have the ball without a field goal kicker at the ball at the 9-yard line with 1.9 seconds remaining.
Well, that's an important timeout, of course, not only because you want to make sure that you have the right play here, but you can see Averett really winded. We mentioned before, when you are on the field, you have to say, where is number 4? And you think about that from a defensive standpoint, but offensively, you've got to know where he is as well. And we see that in that particular change of events.
Yeah, he came from his safety position, saw the throw all the way, and just jumped it on the wide receiver, and that had disaster written all over it for Glassboro.
You have to credit Corey Clement with the hustle play and able to knock him out of bounds. Otherwise, I tell you what, this would have been a rockin' Woodbury High School.
Yes, and again, it's the little things like that a player like that makes. That could be the difference in the game because, again, Woodbury without a field goal kicker, this is an all-or-nothing play right now.
First down and goal. And frankly, it's irrelevant to down. This is going to be one play and out for Woodbury.
Man-for-man coverage to the right side of your screen. I'll be interested to see if they go down here.
A lot of room on that right side for Averett. And now a little bit of confusion. They'll get set. Averett out of the shotgun. Averett will roll to his right looking for space. Averett now. He's got to throw it up and get rid of it. Averett does. Throws it inside, and it's knocked down. Defended by James. And that will be how it ends here in the first half. Good effort by Woodbury and the Thundering Herd. We will head to the break with the Glassboro Bulldogs on top, 7-6. Welcome back to Woodbury High School. About to begin the second half. Of course, Woodbury received the kick to start things. They will kick it away. A reminder that their field goal kicker and kickoff specialist is hurt, Jeray Denby. So again, it will be Chris Roan to do the honors here, and we are underway in this second half. A short kick will bounce at the 22-yard line, and falling on it, almost a very long onside kick. A miscommunication results in an effective kick for Woodbury. Glassboro will start things at their own 25-yard line. 1st and 10 in this critical second half. It is Glassboro on top of Woodbury, 7-6.
Clement rushing in the first half, Rob, 15 carries, 91 yards and a touchdown. The quarterback, Gillespie, 3 for 10, 54 yards and 2 interceptions.
Clement well below his average, but still an effective first half and gaining 91 yards. Gillespie will hand to Clement. He strings it outside, cuts back, and you can see that explosiveness is mitigated by the turf.
Averett was there to make the tackle too, and Clement just ran right over his buddies. He kind of slipped coming in. Averett was there to make the play, but Clement steamrolled right over him, a gain of 7.
Second down and 3. Remember, Woodbury was knocking on the door. They had one play to score a touchdown to end that first half. High formation Clement right up the middle. And Clement will be just shy of the first down. Do you think we see Clement get even more carries in the second half?
I think you have to now. I mean, if I'm the coaching staff, I just keep feeding that young man because sooner or later he's going to find a hole and he's going to break one. On that last play, the tackles of Woodbury did a nice job of holding the ground, making this a 3rd and a couple inches.
3rd down and 1. It's tough to stop Clement now. We saw something earlier where Gillespie just took it on a quick snap behind center. We'll see how they handle it here.
There's your updated stats, 100 yards now on 17 carries for Clement.
And off inside, and that is more than enough, as this time it's Francis, the first man through.
Good change up there for Glassboro, and again, it gives their guy Clement a rest on a hard run up the middle, and this is exactly what you want if you're starting the second half, a nice ball control drive. You see Gillespie there, 3 for 10, 54 yards, and his 2 interceptions, and if he can somehow clean up his interceptions, that might be enough to open up this offense a little bit if they have to, but keep feeding Clement. He's the man.
He has had some fine throws. 1st and 10. James at the top of your screen. Clement in the backfield. Handoff, and it's Clement. Clement pushing forward. Not a whole lot there. We'll call it 2, 2nd and 8.
Usually when you hear big name backs, you think a lot of elusiveness where they want to get around the corners, they want to get in the open field, but to Clement's credit, they're running a lot of off-tackle plays where he's just got to put his head down and be tough, and it's going to be up to Woodbury to stop him. That time a gain of 2, but that's something that has impressed me for Clement. He's not afraid to put his helmet down and go right in there into trouble.
2nd down and 8, ball at the 40-yard line. And you see Clement continuing to have some difficulties with that helmet fixed by Gillespie. He's a jack of all trades. Gillespie will hand it off again to Clement, and Clement again stopped after a very small pickup. So this Woodbury line has been effective, bringing up a long 3rd down now for Glassboro.
Yeah, Lorenzo Clark was in there. He's listed 310 pounds, a senior. He's done a nice job inside. Max Belko listed 239. Some big beef up in that front line for Woodbury, making things tough for Clement. I don't care how good you are of a blocker. If there's somebody that outweighs you by 50, 60, 70 pounds, it's tough to move them.
Down inside of 9 minutes now in this 3rd quarter. I formation for Gillespie. Up top, it's Juwan Johnson. Looks for Johnson on the slant, has his man. Fine catch and throw and catch. Johnson picks up the 1st down. Johnson, the younger brother of George Johnson. We mentioned before, Tad, about the many players from South Jersey in the NFL. His brother George, of course, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Great job to get that pass out there right in stride. And Johnson, the sophomore, makes the catch. And that's kind of what Glassboro needs. They need their quarterback, Gillespie, to help Clement make a couple plays to soften up this defense.
That's a big play because now it's really 4-down territory. So you got to stop Glassboro on 4 plays as opposed to 3. Here's Clement. Strings it outside. Clement and strung down. Averett and Clement going at it. Buddy to buddy. Mano a mano.
Yeah, Averett was there, and he got a nice stiff arm for about 5 yards right to the helmet. Again, as long as you keep it stiff, you're allowed to grab it and push on that helmet as the face mask as the offensive player, and that was well done by Clement.
Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. There you get a look at Johnson.
Here it is again. Here comes this stiff arm right at you. Holds that arm out, and he's riding this for another 5 or 6 yards before his best friend can take him down.
Tony Colon split left with Ronnie James. Gillespie has Clement. Clement right up the middle. Clement spins through and picks up what looks to be enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, they're marking it at the 30, so that should be enough. Clement again inside the tackles, does a good job to hold the ball and spin with it amongst the big bodies of Woodbury.
From the Woodbury 30-yard line, 1st and 10,
Very impressive
Glassboro.
opening drive for Glassboro thus far, Rob.
Well, again, that throw from Gillespie on that 3rd down and 5 play, critical. A fine throw and a good pattern run by Johnson. That's a very, very tough play to defend. Corners! Clement with James in the backfield. Johnson split left.
Counter.
And it's James. James will push forward. James, ball is loose, and it's Woodbury who comes away with it. Martin, who had fumbled earlier, takes one away for the Herd. And that is a drive stopper. You can see James stopped, and Woodbury immediately started to go and try to strip that football. Let's take a look, Tad.
So we look at it again. James gets in there. Once the first guy makes contact, everyone else goes for the ball. The ball pops out. And coming away with it, that is Rashawn Hayes, who recovers that. And initially, I thought it was a very good play call by Glassboro because everyone's keying on Clement. But James comes down, doesn't hold the ball, and that's the break that Woodbury needed.
Well, I tell you, this Glassboro team has really hurt itself today. You have 3 turnovers now and a litany of penalties. This is a game that possibly could be a one-way affair with Glassboro and the offense that they have illustrated, but they have hurt themselves repeatedly. 1st down and 10 here in this 3rd quarter. Averett dances, strings it out to the right, chased by Clement, and he is strung out and thrown out, horse-collared by Clement.
Yeah, it looked like a horse collar from here, but no flag that I can see from here, Rob. As reading that was Averett, he delayed, went to the outside. As we look at it here from ground level, you see the delay. Great block as he gets around the defensive end. Now here, it's just a matter of how far he's going to get. Now you see reaching in. That's definitely a horse collar, Rob. Grabbed him right from behind and threw him down. That would have been an extra 15, but not called. There you see Averett's stats coming in from the first half. 75 yards rushing, a big factor.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting because he is such a threat, and as the quarterback, you have the opportunity to make so many different plays. It's almost like having your point guard in basketball, the guy who brings the ball down, be your offensive threat as well. Inside, and just not much doing for Davon Ayers.
Yeah, Ayers, a sophomore, not a very big young man, listed at 160, tried to go to the far side of the field, and he ran into some big bodies, and there wasn't moving them on that play.
It looks from here that 160 may be generous.
Yeah, he's not a very big young man.
Harris will run in the plays. We've mentioned William Harris throughout the day. He has been a factor defensively. 6:22 and counting. You see that on the top of your screen here in this third quarter. Averett, again, looks like there's some confusion, and that's going to result in a big loss. Averett looked like he wanted to hand that off, and there was nobody home.
So Woodbury comes up with a mistake. We talked about Glassboro and their mistakes in that game, and earlier on, there was a play like that, and Averett was able to get a first down on it, but not on that time, as he was looking to hand off to somebody. As we look at it here, then he wants to go to his right, and there's just nothing there. Well, he had someone to his right side. Ayers was moving to his right, so there's a possibility he was looking to pitch, but good defense knocked that down.
Christopher Hairston with essentially the sack of Averett. And this is a dangerous play. Danger is down because you don't want to throw an interception here and have it returned as you saw Woodbury had done to Glassboro in that first half. Averett out of the shotgun, a 4-receiver set. It's going to be a draw. Averett finds a seam. Averett still on his feet, and he will be cut down after a nice pickup of about 11 or 12, but he will be shy of midfield and the first down.
Well, Ronnie James was there. Ronnie James came in and made the stop there as Averett tried to go on the draw up the middle and had pretty good steam on it. That was not an easy tackle for James to make, but he held his ground. It's going to be 4th and 2, and we might see the punt team here. So that's one guy that's definitely happy on that play. James, who turned over the ball, made the tackle and forces the punt.
Ronnie James in your screen there. He will be back to receive this punt on a short 4th down. And the punt is away, end over end, angling away from James, and that will get a nice roll and will be down inside the 10-yard line. So a fine punt of 42 yards and no return will back up this vaunted Glassboro offense with 4:31 remaining. Be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger, top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One, the Star Ledger, powering nj.com, everything high school sports.
Clement took that carry there to his right side. Again, staying at home. Nazir Harris does a nice job there holding his own, but again, Clement able to get about 2 or 3. But Clement, again, not afraid to go the tackles and just go after some of these big bodies.
2nd down. Is this game playing out kind of what you expected, Tad?
I thought we might have seen a few more points in this game, to be honest with you. It's really turned into this, right now, a field position game at this point, especially with the injury to Demby. That's really wreaked havoc on Woodbury and their special teams, especially in kicking.
Demby does not even have his helmet any longer, so he is done for the afternoon. Very short pickup again. We'll call it 2 or 3. So 3rd down now for Gillespie and the Bulldogs. And it's one area where they've been successful, Tad, converting on 3rd down.
Yeah, they've been pretty creative with their play calling, and looks like coming out of the game now is Clement. I don't know if he's a little shaken up on that play, so he will not be in on this critical 3rd down and 4 play. Normally he'd be one of the players you'd probably look to in this situation. And he's going to stay out on this one.
Johnson comes back in. Do you throw the ball here, Tad?
Again, I wouldn't in a one-point game deep in my own zone. I'd be very, very careful. If I have to punt, I'll take the punt and hand it off and see what I got to do. You just got to make sure that James holds on to the ball.
Third down. Gillespie throws the screen to Johnson. Johnson eludes one tackle. Harris finally throws him down, and he'll be just shy of that first down.
And if you were going to throw the ball, that's the kind of throw you could make. Safe pass. There was a nice cushion on the outside. Receiver makes the play. That's actually a very nice call by Glassboro. They're going to be about a yard shy of the first down, and obviously going to have to punt here.
Dropping back for Woodbury, Anthony Everett.
Well, we'll see. You have James back in punt formation. Averett will receive. And we'll see. We've seen in high school football, coaches tend to be a little bit more apt to roll the dice. We'll see if that's the case here with Macarone and the Bulldogs. Bad snap. James now with the football. James in trouble. He's dancing in the backfield. Can he elude? He finds a seam. Here comes James, and it's going to be a penalty. A penalty is going to negate what an incredible individual effort by James. That's a shame, and remember, it's a spot foul, Tad, so this is really going to back up the Glassboro Bulldogs.
Yeah, because the flags are sitting inside the 10 at about the 5-yard line. Now, again, I don't think that was a fake, Rob, because of the high throw. As you see the block in the back, we see here from the official. As he came down, he saw that there were 3 jerseys. He comes down right now. He looks, he sees there's jerseys in front of him. I'm going to have to try to run this. Tries to come to the near side. Now it looks like disaster at this point. Then he picks up a big block on the outside right around there, and that's where that flag came in. And then at that point, it's all for naught. They're going to have to try to punt it again deep in their own zone. Now some pressure on the long snapper here.
Oh, that is a big, big turn of events. It's not like they can just take a safety and be content. They only lead by 1 point here.
And he's going to have to punt. He's going to be a good 5 or 6 yards when he gets rid of this ball. So the long snapper, Rob, has some serious pressure. As you look at standing at the 31-yard line is Averett. This could be a big part in the game right here.
Well, we've seen Glassboro make mistakes twice now deep in their own end, and each time it has cost them. We'll see whether it converts to a touchdown. James, it's a low-line drive, and Averett kind of just watches it roll out of bounds. It could have been a lot worse there for Glassboro.
Yeah, James caught it and tried to kick it off to his side. You saw a couple of big arms right in his face, and as you mentioned, very fortunate to get that off, and now Woodbury in an awesome position here to try and put this ball in the end zone.
First and 10 at the 33-yard line for the Thundering Herd. Well, we won't know until this all shakes out, this drive, but that could be a killer mistake by the Bulldogs. Of course, maybe perhaps it was that block that sprung James as well. First and 10. Averett out of the shotgun. Averett keeps, has some space, cuts it inside, maintains his balance briefly, and picks up about 5.
Well, Clement had contained on the outside, so he had to hold the outside, reach back in with his left arm, was just able to trip up Averett, but Averett able to gain about 5.
You know, again, getting back to that play, you think about the guy that committed the penalty. We don't know who it is, and you say, oh, you killed the team there, but maybe he helped the team there. You see here Averett again. He helped the team because if James gets tackled back there, look at the difference in field position.
Yeah, at least now the ball's up near the 30-yard line as opposed to inside the 10.
Second down and 5. Averett with under 1 minute remaining in this third quarter. A critical drive, and they're running out of time now. Here's Averett. Takes the snap. Averett bides his time, cuts it outside. Averett again, horse-collared and thrown out of bounds.
Tackled there by James. Again, the thing I like about Averett is in no hurry and he doesn't panic. He catches the ball on the snap, then he takes his time looking for a hole. When he sees his daylight, then he takes off, gets around the corner inside the 20 for the first down. Here it is again. You're going to see it. He's just looking for a hole here. Now he sees, okay, I can get around the corner, uses the stiff arm. Yeah, he had a little bit of a grab on that car in the back, but fortunately for the defender, Rob, the right hand did most of the tackling there, so no penalty.
First down and 10.
Hey, make him fall, make them fall. Let's go.
Ball spotted inside the 20-yard line. Averett, hand off, first man in the front, still driving forward. An impressive run for the Thundering Herd. And that looked like big number 6, Ty Brown.
Well, now it's just gut check time. Your line versus their line, seeing who wants it more. That was a great surge by the Woodbury offensive line. You can see some heads hanging. You look at Glassboro here and a little talking at one another. This is where you got to suck it up as a player and step it up and make a play for your team.
Second down, you see very little time remaining. This will likely be the last play of the third quarter if they get it off in time. Averett again hands it off, and it's Brown driving forward, and Brown finally stopped after the first down. With 4 seconds left, they will stop the clock because of the first down, and then it will run out, and that will be it for the third quarter. Well, again, just as that first half ended, that second quarter, that's where we are in the third quarter. It is Woodbury deep in the Glassboro end, and the clock has stopped to denote the end of three quarters. We will step away. It's been a good one. Glassboro leads Woodbury 7-6 in the Group 1 South Jersey football semifinal. Fourth quarter about to begin. Woodbury trailing Glassboro 7-6. Rob Christ along with Tadd Kozeniewski. Group 1 semifinal action. Anthony Averett hands it off, finds Martin. Martin kicks it outside. Martin on his feet, and he will be denied. Forward progress will get him inside that 5-yard line, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like initially he had a chance to get in the end zone, did Martin there, but good job defensively. Leading the charge was Francis. As you can see here, he goes to cut in, then goes around. Now here he has a shot, but a good job by 3 defenders for Glassboro to hold the line as the game is now on the line, Rob.
Looks like he didn't get a great spot. Looked like he penetrated a little bit further than what they're giving him credit for. But nonetheless, second down, just inside the 5-yard line. A critical drive for both of these teams. Woodbury trying to take the lead. They were on the board first. Second down, inside the 5-yard line. Goal to go here for the Herd. Here's Avery. He pitches, has his man, strings it outside, and tripping up. And we're going to have a couple penalties here as Woodbury's Devon Ayers really ran out of room.
Yeah, it's going to be a block in the back against Woodbury as they came down the corner. You're going to catch the call here by our official. Legal block in the back. I mean, it was clear as day. There were 3 flags thrown on that. You could see it here from the press box. So a big break for Glassboro there, because even without that penalty or that block, he had a shot to possibly take that in.
So the referees are discussing what Glassboro would like to do here. It looks like they're going to decline the penalty. I'm a little surprised by that.
I'd be taking him back if it's me. See that Glassboro defense. Well,
it looks like they've changed their mind once again. You saw the first signal by the referees saying that they declined it, and now they have opted to take it. So second down and goal, and it's at the 15-yard line. I think the mistake that some teams make here, Tad, is they try to get all of it back on that first play, and you don't need to do that.
No.
This is 4-down territory.
Yeah, you got 4 downs to get now. You got to get about 16 yards, and Glassboro playing with a little pep in their step defensively now.
4 receivers set for Averett. Averett with time, throws it up, and it's picked off. And Glassboro comes up with the big defensive stop, and that's exactly what I talked about, Tad. You have an opportunity to run the football with someone like Averett. Brown has been successful, and now a big turn of events.
You see it from down in ground level. Now, there's all kinds of traffic here. It's an underthrown ball. You had 3 receivers out there and almost 4 defenders, and, you know, a veteran quarterback probably should have thrown that ball away or run it. And that's the problem when you talk to high school coaches, as you look at Coach there, when you throw the ball, a lot of bad things can happen. And fortunately there, if you're a Woodbury fan, that was a bad thing. And now Glassboro has a chance to take this game over with a 1-point lead.
A huge momentum changer, trying to take advantage was Woodbury, but instead it's Glassboro that comes up with another turnover. Both of these teams have had quite a few turnovers this afternoon. Combining for 5 turnovers on the day. Small pickup, 2nd down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they went to the fullback up the middle as everyone was keying on Clement. They get 5 yards. That's pretty good if you can get 5 yards going to your fullback up the middle. Now, if you're Glassboro, you're just trying to get a 1st down or 2 and try and shift this field position a little bit.
2nd and 6. Clement with the pitch. With room, Clement, and it's Averett that pushes him out of bounds.
It's like the 3rd or 4th time these two guys have met in the secondary and stopped big plays by their friend. Good job around the corner. As you see Averett there had to make the stop. It is enough for a 1st down as we look at it again from ground level. And boy, Clement, very, very tough when you get him to the outside. He doesn't need much room, very quick to get around the corner.
Ball again on the Glassboro 29-yard line. 1st and 10 Bulldogs.
1st and 10 for Glassboro at the 29. And you can just sense how much the momentum has changed here.
It's like a bubble burst on this side of the field.
Again, it's Clement. Clement strings it outside. Clement, and again, picking up positive yardage.
Clement really likes to run to the right side of his line. Even when he does not run inside the tackles, he usually looks to bend it to the outside. The right side tackle and guard doing a real nice job with that. Again, as you look at the Woodbury sidelines, they really have to have a defensive set here to get the ball back. This is where you've got to be careful if you're Woodbury. You're still only down 1. You don't want to give up the big play. You have to stay with what you've been doing. You held the big guy under 100 yards in the 1st half. You're maintaining him right now. Just be disciplined.
Johnson split wide left. And now Harris will come on to kind of take Johnson. Here's James. James strung out. He almost lost that football.
You're right. You saw that ball come out a little bit loose near the end as James ran that. He is just a sophomore. Gives a rest to Clement. Takes it to the outside there. They do a good job, this Glassboro. As you see it here, they're going to the long side, the open side of the field. And that's where the case where the ball's in the wrong hand there, Rob. You got to try and get that ball in the left hand towards the out of bounds.
Well, you got to believe that this is a critical stop for Woodbury. As Glassboro has taken away a lot of the momentum that Woodbury was able to generate from the 3rd quarter. So 3rd down and 4 at the 35-yard line. Again, I formation here. Johnson at the bottom of your screen. Robinson, slant, and it's Johnson. And they'll have enough. That's been a play that's been successful for him, and now a penalty flag. And I don't know if this is going to go against Woodbury or Glassboro. May have had a late push by Glassboro there.
Yeah, I think Lorenzo Clark got a big hand on the face mask there. And this is going to be disastrous for Woodbury because I think not only did they give up the 1st down, there's going to be some more tacked on as the face mask is the call here. And
5-yard penalty.
5 yard, okay, so he let go quickly. But a gutsy call for Glassboro as we look at it again. 2-step drop, beautiful slant. That's been their big pass play of the game right there, Rob. They get the 1st down, and right there is your 5-yard face mask. And now the clock continues to tick, Rob, against Woodbury, making things tougher for every series.
Ball at the 48-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Gillespie hands right up the gut and bowling his way forward for a pickup of about 7 or 8 is big number 3, Jared Francis.
Now, Clement has been out, but he's just coming back in. Clement was out the last 3 plays of the game, so they had to do it with their younger guys. James, a sophomore, and also out there was Cologne. But now they're going to bring it back to Clement, so I just didn't know if he needed a breather or was injured. But again, even with him out, Rob, they get a gain of 7.
It shows the depth of this Glassboro football team. 2nd down and 3.
Not 2-time defending champs for nothing.
Handoff, Clement strings it outside. Clement with more than enough for the 1st down, and again it's Averett who pushes him out.
If I'm looking to blitz for some reason for Woodbury, I'm going to blitz to my left side because it just seems like Clement likes to go to his right. Even if the play's up the middle, he likes to cut it back and go to his right, gets enough for the first down there, and what a talent for the young man going to Wisconsin. At least now, even if they don't score, they've shifted the field position to make things that much tougher for Woodbury, but they are driving.
It's going to be tough for Woodbury to drive the length of the field unless they get a big play from Averett if they are able to stop this Glassboro defense, which thus far they have been unsuccessful doing. Clement still on his feet. Clement brought down, and we're going to have a personal foul, and right now it's coming apart at the seams.
I saw Averett went flying backwards very oddly there. Now the Glassboro players are calling for the huddle, but if this is a personal foul against Woodbury, this is going to be disastrous. It's against Woodbury. Now you got problems if you're Woodbury, because this is going to put you near the 10-yard line, if not inside the 10. As we look at this again, near the end of the play. Oh, tackle right there. There it is, Rob. The young man kind of tackled, landed on the running back, good 3 yards out of bounds.
Well, you said you saw Averett go flying. That was from the stiff arm of Corey Clement. Unfortunately for Woodbury, a late tackle results in another 15 yards, and as you mentioned, that's a killer. Ball spotted at about the 12-yard line now. 1st and 10. Glassboro with this protracted drive, trying to extend their lead. If they go for one, it would still be a one-possession game.
So you're still not out of it. You're really not out. Your defense has to make a play. Now the officials, actually it's going to be a timeout for Glassboro, so they'll call their first timeout, Rob.
That's interesting. Maybe a play getting in late, or maybe they want to get Clement a blow, make sure that they have their chief weapon available to them. You know, be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams, and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week. With Verizon, Fios One, the Star Ledger, powering nj.com, everything high school sports.
This is what I like about high school sports here today. I mean, an interesting gut check time for Woodbury right now. They've got their backs towards the end zone. The ball's at about the 13-yard line. As you mentioned, even if Glassboro scores, it is still a one-possession game. But high school kids tend to be very hard on themselves, and it makes things a little difficult. And I can watch Woodbury as I was watching through that timeout. There's a lot of players kind of getting on one another right now, and they got to collect themselves. They are still in this game.
The fact that Glassboro has won the last 2 championships typically pays dividends this late in the game.
Yeah, you know how to win. You know what needs to be done.
1st and 10. Gillespie to Clement. Clement cuts across the grain and finally brought down. It looked like it was Brown on the tackle, maybe 2 or 3.
But again, Clement looks to go to the right. That time, a good job by Woodbury to seal off that right side. He had to cut it back into the big tackles, and that's been some tough running room for Clement.
2nd down. It'll be interesting to see if they stop him, stop Glassboro here, whether Glassboro opts to go for a field goal. I would assume not, because it really doesn't help you necessarily.
No.
So you have to imagine it's 4-down territory here. Clement in the backfield, and it's Gillespie. Hits the first man up the middle, and a big chunk, looks like more than enough for the first down. And again, we see Jared Francis has been effective here late.
Glassboro wants to run a play here very quick while they have Woodbury on their heels, Rob.
And off to Clement. Clement, and he is stopped, but in for the first down, the touchdown. It looks like he just got the lean. From here, it looked like his knees were shy of the goal line and then leaned over. So, but they get the call, and Glassboro is in for the touchdown.
You were looking at the one official on the bottom side. That's what you're looking at home on TV. The official on the top side was the one that gave the touchdown, but I had the same feeling you had, Rob. It looked like his knee was down first. There is no replay here in high school ball, but Still a lot of time remaining in this game.
6:54 left. They will attempt the point after, and this would still keep it a one-possession game. Aaron Crispin on to attempt the point after, and a penalty flag. Procedure. So that'll back up Crispin now. The last time he attempted the point after, it was just tucked inside that left upright. And we'll see whether these 5 yards make any difference.
Definitely makes it a little bit interesting. A little bit further back. And what amounts to what would be a 25-yard field goal. So this is not a gimme in high school football. A lot of pressure on your holder here with Gillespie, the quarterback, the holder.
Crispin's kick is up, and his kick is no good. And again, it went left, and it just kind of started to bend that way. Yeah, you wonder whether the 5 yards was the difference.
All right, here's that play we were talking about in the touchdown. Now, it's very hard to see here. It's close. I mean, if he made it, it wasn't by much. You see the official on the top of your screen says arms up, but you and I, Rob, both felt like his knee might have been down beforehand. But now, how big is that 5-yard penalty against Glassboro? As they are now not able to get the extra point, lead at 13-6. Woodbury catches a break, and with the passing attack that they have, again, Averett can throw the ball, and he's got some receivers.
You know what's interesting is if Woodbury scores, do they go over to Denby and say, can you kick this extra point? Or do they go and say, listen, we're going to win the football game right here?
I think you're going for 2. I mean, based on the fact, I think Denby even had his pad. Yeah, but Denby, I think, even has his pads off. He's got a hood up. He's hobbling. So him kicking is out of the picture. So if it comes down to that, it's going to be fun TV for us if it can come down, because it's going to be an all-or-nothing play.
Well, one of the interesting storylines has been just the kickoffs of Glassboro. They have avoided Averett throughout. They have tried to angle their kicks and have even basically resorted to onside kicks. Here we go again. A squib kick, and it'll be down at the 41-yard line. So Woodbury will take over as Aaron Buckley fell on the ball at the 41-yard line.
And again, you have 6:53 to play in this game. Remember that the clock stops on first down. It stops on out of bounds. Woodbury does not have to hurry at all. They can just play their game, take their time. It's just a matter of, can the high school kids stay with that? No, we have plenty of time to get this done.
6:53 left.
I just think if you're the quarterback here in Averett, you can't force a throw that's not there.
Now, we talked about that before, you know, not trying to get it all back in one play, and that was the mistake they made. That resulted in the interception. Here's Averett out of the shotgun. Averett throws a bubble screen, has his man outside, and a pickup of about 7 as he finds Cameron Gamble.
That's a great play there, and that you put 3 wide receivers the near side of the field. The one receiver steps back to catch the ball. He has 2 blockers in front. It's up to the receiver just to make a play on it, and he ends up getting 8 yards on it. So you get a good look there at Cameron Gamble.
That's a play, too, that you see frequently become a big play. Someone breaks a tackle and they find themselves in the end zone.
And there aren't a lot of bodies out there, and you've got 2 blockers in front.
Averett underneath center. Keeps getting pressure from behind, and he's brought down. Very fortunate he didn't have that ball outside of his core there, because he had some backside pressure.
Yeah, and that was Corey Clement coming from the weak side. He came in there, but just behind us. We look at it again, you're going to see Clement coming from the top side of your screen. He's about a step and a half behind, and right there just got the ball in, and they're about, I guess, the length of the football away from a first down here, Rob.
You could see Clement was actually reaching for that football. So 3rd down and short. They got to hustle to get this play in.
It's about the 5th or 6th time we've seen it. And the crowd's getting a little anxious here.
The back judge will give them a count as to when they are running out of time. We don't see that yet. You give them a 5-second count.
There it is.
There it is. So they're going to have to hustle. They get it. And we see motion there. It looked like Brown tried to get a jump on the play. No, they called timeout.
Yes, Coach Valentine had a feeling on that when it wasn't going well, and to hurry a 3rd and inches play at this point in the game is not a wise move. So a good job to call timeout and get things settled down.
That's a major breakdown though, when you continually have a problem trying to get plays in.
Now the one official's talking to head official. I don't know if Brown wanted the time or Valentine wanted the timeout. Now they're talking it over like they weren't supposed to get it there. I think they're going to have to take it there now. Now they're still holding him on the sidelines. The referees are going to now they're not letting him come back in.
Huh.
What are you going to do with this now?
Macarone's not pleased.
How can you stop it? Then that means you have to take the penalty if they threw the flags, right? This is a real strange one here.
That's a good point. They did throw flags on the play.
Now all the officials are in talking. Woodbury offenses broke their huddle. And they got to let these officials settle this down.
That's an excellent point, Tad. They did call a penalty flag. So if there was no timeout, then there should have been a penalty.
It should be 5 yards back. Now it's just a matter, are they going to take the timeout or the penalty? Here comes the official. We're just trying. I wish I could read lips here if we could see this.
I'll tell you what, not sure which Woodbury coach it is, but he's very animated on the sideline.
He is really upset. He doesn't like whatever's going to happen. All right, now they are going to after all that. But Woodbury just got 2 timeouts there. Charged for 1. That was strange. Now the coaches can come out in the field and talk with their team.
To be honest with you, I think you made an excellent point. I mean, it really works to their advantage to have the timeout called. Otherwise, they're backed up 5 yards.
You got to take the penalty then because the flags were thrown. I don't know what the debate could be. Nonetheless, you have 5:49 to play in the game, so that's an amazing amount of time. Woodbury knows if they don't get this 3rd and inches, they're going to go. But they have a tremendous amount of time with the quarterback who can throw down the field. This situation would put more pressure on a team that can't throw the ball. But you have a quarterback in Averett that can throw and receivers that can catch. So this is very doable.
3rd down and inches. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line of the Herd. They need to get to midfield. And Brown,
wow,
does not get it.
I'm trying to see what to give him.
I'll tell you what, that was very close to being a personal foul as Glassboro's Jameel Murray threw a punch at number 55 of Woodbury, Marquise Aaron, but the officials missed it.
That was right in front of us here in the press box where we are. It's going to be 4th and inches here, Rob. So after a timeout and a half, if you will, they weren't able to get it together and get the 1st down. Woodbury needs to get their act in gear. The one coach, as you mentioned, really upset on the sidelines, one of the assistants.
4th down and 1. This could be the football game, even though there's 5 minutes remaining. Averett out of the shotgun, finds a seam. Averett has enough, cuts it back inside, and Averett is slung down by Johnson.
Well, you know it was going to be Averett. It's just a matter of which side he was going to go to. Got a seal block on the outside, took it around the corner, and Woodbury continues to move the football. Here it is again. Gets that block you see there, pushing him nicely in the middle there. Now up high on that tackle. But
looked like you got a little piece of the face mask.
It was close. It was very close.
Again, play coming in very slowly by Woodbury. Down to 4:45 left. Ball at the 42-yard line. Given the methodical way this drive is transpiring, this may be the last drive of the football game. Averett, quick drop, has a slant across the middle, finds his man, and a nice pickup. Juwan Martin.
It looks like it's enough as Martin just went in between the seam and the defense, was hitting stride. Good look at Martin there. Here it is again from ground level. This is a great thrown ball in the seam on the slant. Martin just able to get enough for the 1st down. And again, a well-thrown ball by Averett.
1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. 4:20 and counting. receiver set for Averett. Averett again chased from behind by Clement, and he'll be cut down by Johnson and Clement. Well, they've really changed the defensive looks here as Clement is really trying to get backside pursuit.
And he's done a good job doing that there. As you see, he's going to come from the top side of your screen, but a good job of the bottom side. He's doing a great job into the backfield there, as there are 3 Glassboro jerseys in the way to make the stop.
2nd down and 9, and again, still play late coming in.
Yeah, again, Rob, we have the opportunity to see a lot of teams play, and that's the same impression I get. These plays are getting in a little bit late for Woodbury. Now Clement's off the field here.
Averett with time. Averett rolls out, throws underneath, and that falls incomplete.
Averett was looking for a quick out, and it was covered. So then he tried to buy time, and that's where I'm sure the Woodbury coaches are holding their breath saying, throw it away, throw it away. And he threw a ball there, a really nicely thrown ball. The only spot who could have caught it was his own wide receivers. You see Averett here. He wants that initial throw right there, and it wasn't there. Now he's buying time. He's looking, he gets it off, and again, only his receiver could have caught that there, so not a badly thrown ball. And now you got 2 chances to get a first down.
Now, maybe asking a lot of Averett. A little surprised he didn't tuck it and then cut back, because you have 2 big bodies that you certainly can outrun and come back and buy yourself some more time. A lot of times when chaos is created, that's when the big plays happen. But again, a smart throw in that only his receiver could have had that. 3rd down and 9. The clock is stopped with 3:14 left.
And again, you know it's 2-down territory, so you don't have to force the ball down the field.
Averett again out of the shotgun. Looking to pass. Throws it up. Caught! Touchdown!
Duan Martin in between 2 Bulldog defenders.
Well, the safety was late getting there. James, a sophomore, was back in his safety position. That was coming the near side of the field all the way. And James just didn't get there in time, and a beautifully thrown ball by Averett. And now it comes down to either this extra point or what we think is going to be a 2-pointer.
3:07 left, 13-12. And now Woodbury will have to hustle to get the play in again. Corey Clement was on the sideline for that play. He comes in now to play some defense. We're speaking with Harris, and again, they got to get this play in.
Yeah, they're going to probably run out of time, I think, here, Rob. Still confusion. Yeah, now they're signaling timeout on our sideline, Rob. Yeah, you bet. This is a play you better get right. If you're a coaching staff, even if you have to burn a timeout that you don't really want to do, you got to get this play right.
I don't really understand, though. I mean, you know going into this drive that you have to go for a 2-point conversion. You know what the play is going to be, don't you?
You and I knew it, back, how many minutes ago we said it's going to come down to a TV play, a 2-point conversion. But again, it's easier for us because we're sitting back here. We're not calling play after play after play. But you're right. You would think at that situation, you get a good shot of the coaches there. This is it. I mean, this is not only the game, this is probably your season. You still have 3:07 to play, but to have the lead, if you can get it in, is huge in this situation.
Martin again on the reception, his 2nd touchdown of the evening. Just 5'8", 150 pounds, the senior, impressive this afternoon. And here it is. Woodbury needs this 2-point conversion to go ahead. The game changed very early in that first quarter when Jeray Denby went down with an injury.
I would have to think you do something here with Averett rolling to the side he feels most comfortable with.
This crowd is electrified. 3:07 left. Averett 4-2 out of the shotgun. Averett biding time, has his man. Did he stretch? Yes, it's good. The 2-point conversion is good. Davon Ayers was tripped up by his own feet, but stretched just enough to get the nose of the football over the goal line. And now Woodbury on top, 14-13.
The ball was thrown just a little bit behind him. As you mentioned, he stumbled over his feet. Nobody picked him up defensively. And and then the touchdown goes on the board, and now, the two-pointer goes up. A 1-point lead, 3:07. Again, a lot of time for Glassboro. As we look at it again, nobody picks him up defensively, and it's just a matter, did he get in on his own? That's close. He just got in.
That's a good call.
Here's your scoring summary on the big play.
Well, remember that Glassboro does have a kicking game. They only need a field goal. Also remember that Woodbury's kicker is hurt, so you can almost be certain that Glassboro will start with very good field position here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of kick you even get out at all from this Woodbury kicker, because as a coach, you're probably saying, don't kick it to the guys deep, and you end up kicking it out of bounds, and that'll cost you either way. So a lot of pressure on this young man in to kick for Woodbury.
I think your best bet is to try to hit a low line drive and aim it at one of the first 5 guys there, hope for a deflection.
This is Chris Rohn who's going to kick. He's a freshman. How'd you like to be a freshman in this situation?
I suppose this is a little less pressure than having to kick a field goal, but here is Rohn. Rohn, he's actually going to kick deep, and it's all the way back to the 20-yard line. On his feet, right through the middle, has one man to beat, and finally from behind, a fine return made by Tony Colon. While we saw all game why they did not want to kick it away, they rolled the dice, and it came up snake eyes. Good return for Cologne and the Bulldogs.
Well, Chris Rohn is the kicker. He's sitting deep on the left side of your screen. You see some beautiful wedge blocking here. Now, Rohn, the kicker, is the lone guy that can make the play. He gets in the way right there, buys his time, and Woodbury able to make the tackle now from the 41. Here comes Glassboro.
First down and 10 for the Bulldogs, 2:59 left. High formation for Gillespie. He hands off to Clement. Clement threw for about 4.
Real nice fake there by Gillespie on the draw. It looked like he might have gone for the pass initially. And again, with Clement, just keep feeding him the ball.
At this point, they are not going to the hurry up. They feel like they have enough time. Ball at the 36-yard line. Second down, we'll call it 5. Pitch, Clement cut down, a fine tackle made. It looks like shaken up on the play is Martin, who has those 2 touchdowns, and they pull him up quickly.
That was a big-time tackle by Martin. He just knifes in here. As you can see on the pitch, Martin comes from the left side of your screen, just knifes his body in, his head off the knee, but he makes the tackle, and now a timeout by Glassboro.
So third down and about 2 for Glassboro, 2:08 left. Well, it's been an excellent football game. Each team has had their share of mistakes.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes for both teams, and that's the thing that's going to kill these coaches, especially the coach that loses this game, looking at the tape of this game. A lot of ifs and buts. If we had done this, if we had not done this. But now the game is still in your hands either way. I mean, it's who wants it? Does the defense want to hold for Woodbury? Does Glassboro have a play to come up and make the play? As you look at some of the statistics for Corey Clement. I mean, look at these numbers here, Rob. I mean, he is just, I mean, if there's such a thing as a South Jersey Football Hall of Fame numbers, there you are. You're looking at him right there. The one in front means he's number 1 in all these categories. 2,510 yards, scoring 230 points, 36 touchdowns, 6,000-plus career rushing yards. All first in the state of New Jersey.
South Jersey, actually.
South Jersey,
Joe
okay.
Martinek had over 2,500 yards. Of course, he went on to play at Rutgers, so Corey Clement will not break Joe Martinek's state career rushing mark, or excuse me, season mark.
What a job. I mean, that's, and this is the kind of stuff that you remember for. You remember for numbers like that, but if you come up and make a play. Now, also, you can kind of see in your screen there, you see the coaches down. There is a young man for Woodbury down on the field. His helmet is off, I believe. So we might have a bit of an extended delay here. It's on the left side of your screen. Obviously, from here, we can't see the number of that young man. But the timeout was called, and now there's an injury, as we mentioned, on the field. And look at this. We have a little New York Knicks situation coming in. Woodbury realizing they might need a kicker, they have just put on the uniform of Jeray Demby, has just come back on the field with his pads. His teammates are going to help him get together. Now, we were told he had the possibility of an MCL injury. They didn't know to what extent, and he had the pads and the uniform off. Now, there's the young man that's on the field. Now, is that a 2, Rob?
I believe that is Martin.
You saw him knife in there on the tackle, and he has his helmet off, and they are up in his neck region. So I have a feeling for our guys in the truck, as you see there's Demby coming, looking to get back ready. This could be an extended delay here, the way things are looking right now.
We talked before about some of the marks of Clement. He is 6th all-time in the state of New Jersey with career touchdowns at 88. 5th is Isaac Redmond. So if he continues to play, it is possible he could get to Isaac Redmond. Of course, Redmond is in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Greg Toll was very successful. And number 1, Noshawn Marino. Of course, a name we know with the Denver Broncos. Number 2, Kevin Harvey, who I still would contend is maybe the best high school football player that I have seen.
He gets my vote, yep.
We can talk a little bit more about some of the individual achievements of Corey Clement, but we'll step away. 14-13, Herd over the Bulldogs, Group 2, semifinal. Welcome back, and there you see, just absolutely heartbroken is DeJuan Martin. He looks like he's upset because he wants to be a part of this football game.
Here's this play again. He's the one that's going to knife in here with the top side of his body. You can see his neck kind of shoot back right here. And that's where he took the extended time on the field. Little whiplash, I guess, on that. It's nice that he is able to walk off the field.
And Denby is now back on the football field.
Wow. I never thought we'd see him back in the game. The junior number 8 for Woodbury, the kicker. An outstanding running back, now defense, and he's hopping along. He's ready to go.
3rd down and short. Let's take a look. 2:08 left. Reset this. 3rd down and 2. Glassboro trails by 1. Pitch. Clement fumbles the football. It's loose. Woodbury's on the football. Woodbury comes away with it.
There's the signal. It's a shame. Clement, as he was trying to take the pitch, was looking down the field to see what was in front of him. The ball was behind him on his left shoulder. He had to reach back for it and lost it. And unfortunately, that might be enough. As you look at it again, he's looking down the field. Went quicker, I think, than he wanted. The pitch was there. It was actually in decent position, but
Stay off the
huge
field.
break.
Ty Brown able to recover that football. There is 2 minutes left. I believe Glassboro still with 2 timeouts left, so they can stop the clock here and still regain possession of the football. So by no means is this football game over. 1 first down would do it for the Thundering Herd. Wow, we've had a little bit of everything today.
You aren't kidding. We have seen it all. That's probably the last thing anybody in this football stadium expected on that play.
1st down and 10. And again, the first thing you do if you are Glassboro is grab for that football. Avery, hands off, it's Brown. Brown driving forward. Brown now stopped, and they start reaching for the football. They'll blow the whistle.
It's right. Once, you're taught here, once somebody controls the defenders, we're going to get a timeout here on the field. Timeout for Glassboro. We're going to take a look at this again on the replay in regards to when the possibility of the whistle blows. So here comes the running back. Now look how he's holding that ball. He's kind of loose. He was kind of loose as he was.
No, that was Averett. That was a different play.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll get back to that in a second if we can.
The ball did come loose on this play, but it was well after his progress was stopped.
Here he goes, up the middle. It's already got it back. It was initially loose. Now right around here is about when the whistle blows, right in here. And then as we keep rolling, you're going to see, now he's going back. The whistle blew at this point, and now the ball comes out right there.
That's a great replay by our truck, though. I did not realize initially that ball almost came loose.
You got to be careful. I mean, this is where you're taught, even midgets, you're holding it with 2 hands as you're going through the line. There's no stars here. You hold it with 2 hands.
2nd down and about 3. 1:49 left. Averett keeps. Averett strings it outside, and now we're going to have a penalty. So that changes everything.
Wow. Going to cost him 10 on holding.
Now, one thing that coaches often forget is that after the play is reset, the clock will continue to run. We'll see whether they call a timeout here or not. Because, again, that allows Woodbury to run off another play.
They're going to take the penalty here. He had the first down initially. So there you said, there goes the clock running now.
So, unofficially, we hear that Glassboro may be out of timeouts. There is no indicator on the scoreboard as to how many official timeouts are remaining. If, in fact, they are out of timeouts, then Woodbury may have the ability to run out the entire clock. 2nd down and 10. Averett has got to stay in bounds, and he's got enough for the first down, and that's going to do it. Provided that we have clean snaps, Woodbury's going to come away with an absolutely thrilling victory.
You got to go to your featured player when you need a play, and they got it there, Averett, and coach has got to be excited as he looks down his sidelines. They get the first down. You're almost in kneel down time now. As you look at it again, Averett gets some, look at it blocking. They're 5-6 yards down the field looking for somebody to block. So a great job by that front line on the blocking there.
As you see, clock now inside of 50 seconds. The victory formation, Averett takes a knee and a penalty flag.
May have lined off in the neutral zone as Glassboro.
Well, maybe not enough on the line of scrimmage for Woodbury, we'll see. It's frankly irrelevant.
Yeah.
You are correct, offsides against Glassboro.
What a gutsy performance, though, Rob, by Woodbury today.
Absolutely.
I mean, missing their kicker, he comes back in the game. I mean, they played far from a perfect game, but they're going to escape with this one.
Down inside of 30 seconds now, so this will be the last play of the game, provided that Averett gets this ball cleanly. Woodbury will be rocking this weekend. He does, and that's the ball game. Glassboro's string of championships has been snapped, and the Woodbury Thundering Herd come away with a scintillating 14-13 victory for that man, Zach Valentine, and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. They are victorious, 14-13. It could have been a 5-yard penalty on, of all things, an extra point that was the difference. The little things, Tad, the little things.
Yeah, that 5 yards knocked back, and that kick that was missed was very, very close. And there's a pretty good chance if he was 5 yards closer, that would have gone through. But
stick around. Post-game interviews and a wrap right after this.
Be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to NJ.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One. The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, everything high school sports. Welcome back to Woodbury High School. Rob Christ here with winning head coach Zach Valentine. Woodbury victorious 14-13 over Glassboro here at the storied Woodbury Stadium, Coach Valentine, one thing I think that will get lost immediately in this exciting finish is the job that your defense did, really shutting down Corey Clement, really keeping him from breaking out in a big play. Speak about, how you prepared for such an exciting back and someone who has really set the bar high here in South Jersey.
Well, what we went out to do is try to control what's up front with the line, and we knew it started there. Corey's going to get his yards. We had the mindset of just trying to keep him within the box. We knew that if we tried to get outside, we're going to have to come up with the safeties. But first of all, we knew we had to take care of what was up front with the line.
Obviously, as the fourth quarter evolved, you knew that it was still a one-possession game, and with the missed extra point, you could still win the game. What was the talk that you had with your team prior to that drive that ultimately ended with you being victorious?
Well, we knew that we had to score, and looking at the scores, 13-6, we had to have 2 scores. And the thing that we wanted to do is get across the goal line and make sure that we make sure we can get the 2-point conversion. Once we got in the end zone, the momentum was there, and we thought that we would have a better opportunity to go for 2 points and score then.
DeJuan Martin had himself a heck of a game. Just for our audience, is he going to be okay?
What Dr. Rogers said, that he looks pretty decent. Of course, they're going to evaluate him, and hopefully he's back next week.
Talk briefly a little bit about the player that you have in Anthony Averett. I know that it's always special to have a player that you coach that has just the extraordinary ability that Averett has. What has he brought to you and this Woodbury football program?
Well, what Anthony does, he's a humble young man, and what he brings to a football program, he brings an athlete on all phases of a football game, offense, defense, and also special teams. He does a tremendous job of, we elevate around Anthony, but the thing is that what I like about this football team, it's not just Anthony Averett. It's the guys that his cast that are around him. He realizes that. And in this offense, we have a triple option. Anybody hand can get hot, and whoever has a hot hand is the one that's going to have the most yards. I thought Ty did a wonderful job at the fullback position, and that really helps Anthony. And so, it's good to have a young man like Anthony. But I tell you what, it's good to have a team effort also.
Well, that certainly was the case. A team effort. A couple members of the team that our own Tadd Kozeniewski is with, Ty Brown and Anthony Averett, who we have spoken about.
Thank you very much, Rob. We're here with Ty Brown, fullback and linebacker for the victorious Herd today. First of all, Ty, tell us about the big fumble recovery.
Well, it was so big because, it was like the end of the game. It was either or he was going to score or we was going to get the ball back and then move back on to what we was doing. I'm very proud of myself for what I did today, and that's all I can say.
How about offensively today, what you were able to do and help your team? What were some of the things that worked offensively for Woodbury today?
Every time I got the ball, I got yards. I just kept it moving. My friend Anthony, he was just doing his thing, being a quarterback and everything. And we just kept moving the ball. We had little mistakes. The other team did too, and we just had the overall win.
Now you're playing linebacker today against what is in the record books now as the all-time leading rusher in South Jersey. What was the game plan coming in to try and maintain him?
We was just going to keep hitting him left and right, as I said last week. Corey, he's a good player. He's a good running back, and we did the best, to keep him contained.
Now as you get ready for the championship game, what does Woodbury have to do to win?
We just have to practice real hard next week. This is the first time I've ever been there, and we're going to win this game.
Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can get Anthony over here real quick. Anthony, can we bring you in? First of all, congratulations, Anthony. Did the hype build up for this game? Was it what you thought it would be?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a close game and a hard-fought game. And at the end, we just pulled it out, so it was pretty good.
A couple plays that stick out in my mind was the big touchdown play that got you within to get ready for that 2-point conversion. Can you talk about that pass play and what happened in that play?
We just spread it out. I think we was in gun, sent my guy in motion. And we had a feeling the safety was going to come up a little bit, so I was kind of I knew that my guy was going to run the wheel route. and I just hit it in for Teron James picked it off, and he just missed it. So Pooh caught it, and just cut back. And that's how it worked.
Now the game comes down to the 2-point conversion. Tell us about the play and what happened during the play.
I actually forgot to put the guy in motion. It was very last minute. He just went in motion himself for that little. It wasn't really designed to be like that, but hopefully it just worked that well. And I knew the linebacker was going to have to pick me, so he picked me, and I just dropped it down to the running back.
Once he caught the ball, it looked like he may not quite make it in the end zone. How did you see that as he was kind of going down?
I know I was kind of like praying, like, please, just don't fall, just get in there, and he dived in there. So I was happy after that.
Now, a lot of hype was made before the game about you and your partner from the other team. How was it like playing the game? What are your thoughts as you look back playing against one of your good friends?
Oh, well, that's my best running back I ever played and never had a tackle. So he's a great player, and Glassboro's a great team. It was a hard-fought game. So
well, before I let you go, who's winning the big football game down in Alabama?
Oh, Alabama, of course. I think we got him. You should get him, hopefully. I'm praying. I'll be watching, though, after this.
Well, you have one more game to play. Good luck with that. And then all of us in South Jersey and Gloucester County, we can follow your career with Alabama. Good luck with everything.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being on. Well, an outstanding ending in a game that games like this often don't live up to the hype, but I think this one did.
Yeah, it was obviously a barn burner. 14-13 comes down to a missed extra point and a 2-point conversion. I mean, in a kind of a strange way, it kind of helped that the kicker got hurt, you know. But again, this is one of those games that I think people in Woodbury will be talking about for a long time.
Yeah, there was a lot of things for both teams. Small little plays here or there. We talked about the extra point. You had the 5-yard penalty that initially, even after the penalty, when they kicked it from where we were, it looked like it was good, and you saw the official looking up saying it was really close. So you have to think, if that's 5 yards closer, we could still be playing right now. So who knows? There's a lot of little things. And again, Glassboro fought hard, but just came up a little bit short.
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Corey Clemens. A shame, really, for Corey that he doesn't have the opportunity to extend his season at least one more game and just continue to compile the records that he has individually and for this season and for his career. What a tremendous career. It was really special watching a player of his caliber. And also, let's talk a little bit about Glassboro. 2 consecutive championships, and it's a shame they tried to go for number 3, but Woodbury's a little too much today.
Yeah, and Clement is a great talent. The thing that impressed me most about him, when you hear about players in big yards, you think about guys that want to get around the corner. He was no problem running up the middle. He fought for it hard, did a nice job. And again, Glassboro, again, it's going to hurt for a while, but that team has nothing to be ashamed of. They played hard, and they just could easily be playing for the championship next week.
Well, it was you, Ted, that talked at length about the talent and depth of Gloucester County football. It was on display today. Woodbury victorious over Glassboro in a classic 14-13. Zach Valentine and the Herd will go on and try to claim another South Jersey Group 1 championship. For my partner, Tadd Kozeniewski, my director, John Mondelli, I am Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Again, your final score, it was Woodbury 14, Glassboro 13. They head on to the South Jersey Group 1 championships. Good night, everybody.